What's up, THL? We got Salty Saturday here, week 7 of season 5. I'm Slimsh as always, and I'm joined by D Lineman tonight.
That's me.
We got the Anarchist in the background as per usual. And we've got some matches tonight. We've got Arcane THL starting off versus Delta 4-1. We have their classes and bans in. They both banned Shaman. Arcane's left with Mage Rogue Warrior. Delta's got Druid Warlock Warrior. Really pretty different lineups.
Yeah, looking at these three lineups, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I find Arcane THL to be very heavily favored. Just looking at the classes that they have remaining, Mage Rogue and Warrior match up incredibly well against Druid, Warlock, and Warrior. The Druid obviously can get through against the Mage, but besides that, I find it very difficult for Delta 4-1 to manufacture 3 wins against that lineup unless he can really nail down exactly the matchups that he needs. But there are very few of those.
Yeah, Druid and Warlock. It's kind of just a dream for Rogue, which you don't normally get. I'll be interested to see what kind of Mage Arcane's running with. If it's Remo Mage, you basically just want to dodge the Druid. Some people are running with Tempo Mage. I don't know if it's worth or not, but people are doing it.
Yeah, I mean the Shaman ban is pretty telling, right? If he very well could be running Tempo Mage because you see that Shaman ban. If he's running Reno Mage, then Mage matchups very well against Shaman, Warlock, and Warrior. But that being said, you don't manufacture a ban just specifically for one deck all of the time. And looking at the rest of Arcane's lineup, Shaman has a good matchup against Rogue. There's a mirror, obviously, and Shaman has a strong matchup against what could very likely be Pirate Warrior.
Yep. Also, these guys are playing now. So yeah, I think Delta, maybe you start off with Warrior, save the Druid for a little while. The Druid could be a limiting factor, so Arcane's got Dragon, presumably Pirate Warrior hybrid with Deathwing.
So I'm not sure exactly how I feel about the Warlock lead, and I'll tell you why. When you're facing a situation where presumably your only win with Druid is going to come against Mage,
yeah,
I don't think you want to start off with a matchup that would be favored for the Mage, because if the Mage wins, that's it. Your Druid's not getting a win.
Yeah, not
so I actually very heavily favor leading Druid. And just like sticking to the guns until you see the Mage. I mean, if Arcane THL reads it well and saves Mage for last, good for him. But that's kind of the position that you put yourself in.
Because that's one of the better ways to win the match. And yeah, the Danger Zone Delta's team is down in the series so far, 6-4. So the win's very, very important.
But anyway, here we are in Arcane THL with a very fast start. Not the best follow-up here after turn 3. Actually, no, never mind. Deathwing's obviously a dragon, so he has a very strong path through this game.
Yeah, seriously.
Being able to follow up with Twilight Guardian. If he doesn't draw patches next turn, he's going to be able to drop the N'Zoth's first mates to pull the patches out of his deck. You may not want to commit too heavy to filling up this board because of AoE, obviously, but regardless.
Interesting that he coins out the Kazakus. I guess this opens up a better Hellfire. Potentially, there's always just Peddler, but
he doesn't have Hellfire, right? He has Shadowflame.
Oh yeah, Shadowflame.
And unfortunately, he doesn't have a target for it, right? Because his Kazakus is gonna go away. Arcane cannot leave that up.
Yeah, seems awkward to be coining out the Kazakus like that when the potion's gonna be so far away. It's not that great of a potion either, really.
Right. Now he's gonna be able to drop this Mountain Giant. Not entirely sure if how well this is going to work out for him. I mean, he's going to be able. Arcane THL is going to be able to go all face, set him down to 10, potentially even more if he decides to attack with his N'Zoth's first mate weapon. I really wouldn't commit more to this board though, because at this point, all you lose to is your board being cleared and then the Warlock restabilizing, and that's essentially the avenue that you've left open. You have no follow up here.
There's your board.
He's actually going to run over. He's actually going to run the damage to the Mountain Giant.
Wow. So there's your board being clear. As to what board clear you'd play around, obviously Shadow Flame on possibility, but you saw the Kazakus played, and you know that they are going for that AoE whenever possible.
Right.
So that would be what was being played around, but
right. Which actually I don't entirely disagree with if you're gonna go that route. I mean, he's rewarded. He gets the Azure Drake off the top, but if you're gonna play those minions, I actually don't mind clearing off that Mountain Giant, mainly because turn 6 isn't there yet. The best answer to that, barring the 4 damage AoE, was a Siphon Soul, right? Yeah. But Delta 4-1's not at 6 mana, so he was forced to use a Blast Crystal Potion, which now here it somewhat limits Delta 4-1 going forward, because now he's going to be 2 turns away from an Abyssal Enforcer. He would have been a turn away from Reno if he had it in his hand.
Right. Also, the first mate should have been played before the Azure Drake to get patches before you drew the card. I don't know what else you draw that was 1 mana. Small Time Buccaneer.
You'd still rather play N'Zoth's first mate, I would imagine.
Just to guarantee the patches.
Well, A, to guarantee the patches, and B, because now at this point you're trying to squeeze in damage every turn. And if your Small Time Buccaneer would stick, then the rest of this board is sticking anyway, and you're going to win.
Right. Yeah, so wow, Draconid Crusher being picked up is really, really huge. It's going to force something exactly Siphon Soul, basically, with the Blast Crystal Potion being used. And if that's the case, then the rest of the board gets to stick. Arcane can trade into this and preserve as much board as he wants, really.
Mm-hmm.
But does he value the health on the Twilight Guardian and trying to make that stick around more? Because you could just simply throw the Drake in and your weapon and have 1 less damage going because of. I don't think you mind missing 1 damage. Not sure why you wouldn't tank it with the face though. Oh, he's playing hard around MC Tech.
There's that, and also again, there's still that AoE consideration. That all being said, we see the Kazakus potion for polymorphing a random minion. If that Siphon Soul weren't in the hand, or now when future threats come down, losing that patches actually opens the door for this Kazakus potion to be able to hit a larger target, which is something to look out for. And at this point, Arcane THL, if you're going through the possible permutations of what that Kazakus potion could have been, you would know that it's not AoE, so potentially having a larger board is more beneficial to you. But it's all relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, so Warlock goes down, Arcane gets the quick win with Warrior, and maybe now Delta will throw the Druid in there. There's Rogue and Mage left. I would assume that Arcane would queue up the Rogue. I think Rogue's amazing against Delta's lineup.
Yeah, and now being stuck on Mage and Rogue, if you are Delta 4-1, again, I mean, I already said it before, but I think it's still you throw out the Druid. Because if you're looking at it from Arcane's perspective, 2 of your 3 classes are unfavored against his Mage. So if there's a time for him to drop Mage, it's right now. Whereas with Rogue, 1 matchup is favored, another one is heavily unfavored, and then another one is closer to even.
Which one's closer to even?
The Warlock matchup.
Yeah. It's probably closer than I'd give it credit for. Rogue has to be slightly favored, though. Just maybe slightly.
I mean, it comes down partially to like the specific build of Rogue, right? Because not all Rogue decks are running double sap, for instance.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really important card in the Warlock matchup. And we don't know the deck list, obviously.
If Delta's playing Druid and Warlock, I would hope that any Rogue build would include 2 saps against those.
Yep, I'd agree.
So really, really explosive potential here with Edwin at any point.
Yeah, and you know he's going to go for it, right? Like, you go for this every time and get punished by Mulch every single time.
Like, I can't believe there's a Mulch.
Yeah, but like, you don't play around this Mulch, right? Like, you just go in. Oh my god. Well, there's not. Yeah, I mean, he could potentially. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So
We
he's
found
so
it
he's
easy.
yep, he's doing this in the right order.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, he didn't
I'll
pick
blame
up
him.
another spell.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Druids at most usually run about one mulch. Very few lists, I would say, run 2 of them, but there are some of those out there. Wow, that's a big boy.
Yeah, it's an irrelevant boy. Like you don't play that card and win this matchup ever.
Yeah, that's not a rogue card. Let's just say that. Yeah, so all things considered, things are going all right for Delta. Arcane's got these questings, but needs a little more something to go in on them, and
he got it.
that would be it. I would say you'd go for it. In fact, you can save the prep for
Yeah.
the following turn with the other questing. Potentially, it all depends on what gets drawn. Pretty good though.
I mean, here's the problem though, is that the follow up is not great unless he picks up an impactful spell, right? Because like Vermin Sensei is not a strong enough follow up. That's going to be a 4 health questing adventure, and it's going to get swiped away.
Yeah. So are
so
you
he really-
content to hold these 2 questings for like a turn 6 questing prep conceal?
No, I know. I'm not content to do that. I
No.
think you do it anyway, but I mean, just recognizing what the risk is.
Yeah. Not sure why weapon. Oh, he wants to hold the weapon for the following turn. Which, yeah, there's merit to that, because you might just have to play the Vermin Sensei as an overpriced Yeti. You want your small time to still be powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind it. I like taking the more aggressive line there.
Yeah, speaking of aggressive, these Jades are getting big very, very quickly. That really helps Delta 4-1 out.
So that Azure Drake's actually a pretty huge pickup.
Yeah.
Picking up the spell here would allow him to play 3 cards on this turn, which is really huge. Unfortunately, he didn't get it.
Yeah, and the prep should be saved. So yeah, it looks like it's time for some trading. Not sure if questing should be trading, if there is trading to be done. He's gonna get traded into anyway.
Yeah.
And if there was gonna be a swipe, then one of those, well, I guess the 2/2 would have traded in, but it's pretty.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have traded in. That Wrath would have just gone down for 3 instead of 1.
Right. Delta really doesn't care about cycling Raz when you have Nourish in your hand.
All right, but we're looking here, and Arcane THL doesn't have any saps. This Ancient of War is going to come down next turn.
Right.
He has no saps and no draw engines at the moment. That Questing Adventurer is pretty dead to rights. He doesn't really have any combos available to him next turn at all. So unless he picks up a Gadget Sand or a sap or even Phantom Knives would be fine.
He'll just have to play some big dudes to try and contest the turn after, which feels pretty bad because at that point your opponent's going to know you don't have sap, and it can go downhill pretty quick from there.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to play around sap, though. I mean, you get a 4/4 off that Jade Behemoth. It's really not bad. The Jade Behemoth dies pretty easily, but you got the other swipe to clean that up in something else, maybe. Oh, Shaku. I'm gonna play that over the Vermin Sensei just for the potential to maybe get a spell to prep out or something like that.
I like the okay. So here's where the huge merit is in playing that Jade Behemoth is that Delta 4-1 is already ahead.
Yeah.
And then you consider, what do you lose to in this situation where you're ahead? You'll lose to sap combo plays. So, and that just simply plays around that. It's more mana efficient, yes. I mean, he'd love to be able to go Jade Behemoth Hero Power right here. Or Nourish Feral Rage or whatever the case is. But he doesn't have access to that. But
and the fact that Jades were up to 4/4 already too is pretty huge.
Exactly.
Yeah, and now Delta's just going ham because he doesn't really see a way to lose.
Yeah, he sets up lethal. Arcane's not running taunts, right? Rogue doesn't play that. Unless a healing touch came off of that Swashbuckler, then
Yeah,
good to go.
Shaku's got to help out here with something to maybe get prepped out. Okay, he's going real brave here for something awesome. Mark of Nature's not bad, actually.
Man, imagine a world where he has counterfeit coin. He can go face this behemoth, coin counterfeit coin, prep Mark of Nature.
That's incredible. So there's prep Mark of Nature here, I'm guessing on the questing, and you just coin for the extra health.
Do you need it? I think so.
Yeah, the coin. I mean, being at 5 health, I don't know that you're in a position to.
Actually, no, you don't need it, right? Like
It doesn't change the math much.
No, well, it doesn't change the math at all, right?
Druid operates in even numbers most of the time outside the hero power. But it would have ended up making a difference here, right? The 2/2 would have had to go in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know. If you want to get in the business of playing around double fire rage, and
yeah,
that's all fine and dandy. I'd much rather find that path to victory, which is using that coin with the Gadget 10 auctioneer.
True. Yeah. So the Druid found a win, which is a really, really big deal for Delta. And now things actually start to look a little bad for Arcane and his Rogue because there's a Warrior up.
There is a Warrior. I mean, I think the Mage comes out right now, right? Like you have 2 favorite.
Yeah,
the Mage, bring it out right now. Get some information on.
Nope. Ouch. Felt that Warlock.
But it doesn't, like, if you think he's playing Warlock, like, it still doesn't matter, right? Like if your Mage is again, we don't know what Mage Arcane's playing, but so we're still making an assumption that it's Reno Mage. But under that assumption, if it's the Warlock matchup, you're still you're very favored, even more favored than you are with Rogue in that matchup. And in light of it, you're not only favored, but it's also promoting a very slow matchup, which allows you to see more cards in that deck. You'd love to be able to have the information of whether or not he's running Jiraxis or whether or not he's running combo or both.
Right. Yeah. And even without knowing exactly the mage archetype, which we think might actually be Tempo Mage, which Tempo Mage might have a chance too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be possible. Well, this matchup's pretty bad, but it's gone pretty well. About as well as you could expect, at least so far. But that Gadgetzan is just such a no-good card in the matchup. By the time it gets played, you're... Oh, wow.
So
basically,
so next turn could be pretty good, right? You can counterfeit coin eviscerate
Edwin. Yeah.
So I think we just saved for that. Unfortunately, this Blood Cell Cultist is going to hit, but
that's
ambitious.
That's an interesting hit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that hit helps, right? But not like now it makes their play next turn potentially even worse if you were to draw, say, a backstab.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to backstab, counterfeit coin, eviscerate something else like this 3/4, and then Edwin.
No. Yeah, it's a little strange.
Regardless, I think the same play happens.
Yeah, just take out the Blood Cell Cultist, try to get Edwin, and honestly, the Cold Blood's not terrible either, because you do need to make this big Edwin and activate him with Cold Blood at some point.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, what do you think about actually hitting that 3/2 there?
Wait.
Like you're taking 9 from it regardless, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like you're taking 9 from it regardless, and if you're playing for that Edwin sticking and bringing you home, then...
Thank you.
Oh, so he was trying to completely take it out with Dagger Swings.
And especially since you made the first hit, right? Like, I really hate logically inconsistent lines of play.
Right.
Like you hit it once just to take 3 free damage and not touch it again.
Yeah.
Especially now that that's traded into it. You could have been at 13, which is a huge difference now because now you're open to losing to cards like Mortal Strike, Heroic Strike,
Yeah, it's a pretty huge difference.
Upgrade.
Yeah, so this, at least on paper, sets up some kind of 2-turn lethal, but it's not going to happen.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, either way, it was going to be looking pretty bad.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, this hurt a lot, right? Like taking that 3 damage, because now you look,
Yeah.
he has 12 damage on board. 13th with the hero power. Delta 4-1 is at 21. I think that that he had outs had he not taken that hit, given that he has the Gadgetzan Auctioneer and top decks. I think the outs exist. I mean, it's still very unlikely, but still put yourself in the best position to win.
The hit just didn't make much sense. Like the hit was basically, for what the hand was, it seemed like it was setting up to kill an unactivated Eviscerate. Like an unactivated Eviscerate, but the plan was always going to be comboing Eviscerate and playing Edwin. It's just what your hand is forced to do in those bad matchups. Okay, Arcane really feels the rogue.
Yeah, now
Maybe
it makes me question what that mage deck is.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean, it's got to be Tempo Mage, right? Like, there's no way you go in with Rogue here if you have Reno Mage.
I wouldn't think so.
There's no way. It's got to be Tempo Mage then.
Okay, there's one sap at least. Pretty funny what you can do with Miracle Rogue knowing what you're up against.
That being said, I'm not very familiar with the Tempo Mage and Reno Warlock matchup.
Me neither.
But I am more than willing to assume that Tempo Mage is in a good spot in that matchup as well.
Yeah, I mean they've got the tools that they should need to have to beat that sort of deck. They've got Burn up the wazoo. They've got a bunch of cheap minions, which I mean Reno Lock only has so many answers early on. Man, this hand from Arcane just looking nuts depending on how well he plans it out.
Mm-hmm.
Between 2 Pillagers, Auctioneer,
Ooh.
and Beneath the Ground, so he can shut down any Kazakus or Reno at any point when it's convenient.
Man, I promise you that's the logic behind bringing out this rogue instead of the Reno Mage, was because he has Beneath the Grounds in the deck.
Okay. I mean,
I don't think it's good logic.
That does affect things a little bit. What about not attacking with Shaku there? You got to know that the Twilight Drake really wants to kill your Pillager anyway. And if the Twilight Drake were to kill Shaku over Pillager, you'd probably be pretty happy about that too.
Mm-hmm. So Delta 4-1 got really unlucky with that Dirty Rat pull.
Yeah, I mean, if Auctioneer got killed, that'd be so massive. Yeah, Auctioneer or Edwin.
Exactly. But the only one in his hand that actually specifically hurts you is what came out.
Mm-hmm. So how slow does Arcane want to take this? Because he could take it really quite slow and just save all the coins for the next turn. Probably have sap too.
Yeah, I like saving the coins because you're able to play it with sap. I don't mind dropping Beneath the Grounds right now.
Oh yeah, just get Beneath the Grounds out there, and I guess he sat on Shaku for so long, and it actually makes a lot of sense now with the Cold Blood.
Actually, you're getting a point from this. You can coin Gadgetzan double coin sap.
Yeah, it's definitely
double coin. This rate would be even better, but whatever comes.
Yeah, going fast definitely makes sense. So. Yeah, double coin could go with the.
Oh, there it is.
It's either sap or Cold Blood's a weird option too, which might not necessarily be the best one. Yeah, just protect Auctioneer.
But I think you attack with this Shaku now.
Yeah. If you attack with Shaku, kind of weird because there's some cheap Warlock spells that might have changed things. But maybe he was thinking about cold blooding it at some point or another if that Eviscerate wasn't found.
Perhaps. It's just, like you see it as Hellfire in Delta 4-1's hand.
Yeah, this Hellfire.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised by the no Hellfire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked by the no Hellfire because that's just I mean, you don't get good Hellfires against Rogue, right? Like they don't exist.
No, not really. You sure do get good Shadow Bolts, though. Granted that two Tomb Pillagers were played already in one Gadget Sand, but Rogues just they don't run out. Thinking about going in on, well, no, now with the coins gone, there's really not much going for questing or Headwind.
Yeah, I like the Azure Drake and Coldblood here.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, that counterfeit coin could be pretty huge. Yeah, just Coldblood. This puts a lot of pressure on them to have Mortal.
And here we're talking about good Hellfires, and he found one.
He found one. Yeah, because alternatively there would be Mortal Coil Emperor. But
Yeah.
clearing the board feels pretty good.
Clearing the board feels good, but is it actually better than? Because you're still in the same position, right? Because now Arcane is developing threats again, and you have to find ways to answer it. You have Twisting Nether, you have Siphon Soul and Blast Crystal Potion, so you do have the answers to all of the potential permutations of plays that Arcane can put out there.
Right. If there's a big stealth board, then you're more than happy to Twisting Nether. If there's one individual threat that needs to get dealt with, you can do that too. But
that being said, the same options exist to you if you were to play Emperor, right? Even if Emperor gets sapped or eviscerated, all that really changes is that, all that really changes is that you're taking 4 damage or potentially 8 with a Coldblood that you otherwise wouldn't have taken, but you still have access to the same board clears that you would have had before with the Twisting Nether and the Siphon Soul.
Yeah, and the good thing about Emperor too is that Emperor would have probably made Arcane's turn slightly awkward rather than that Beneath the Grounds having gotten played. He probably would have been forced to sap or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, here it's Twisting Nether, or
does he have Shadow Flame?
He doesn't have Shadow Flame.
He doesn't have Shadow Flame, so that would be a Blast Crystal Potion then. Also, look at that Doom
Guard. So he's taking he's taking Mountain Giant Blast Crystal Potion.
Yeah, Blast Crystal Potion on Gadget Sand because the huge thing for Twisting Nether is a big concealed board.
Yeah, but you still lose to this, right?
Right. It's
like you're looking at 7 damage right now and a 9 card hand from Arcane.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is,
and you have a Reno that you can't play.
Depending on how you want to define good, is that Arcane did play the Coldblood on the Auctioneer there. He played a Coldblood before and an Eviscerate also. So his burst is limited, but yeah, the Reno's shut off. And
yeah, the Reno's shut off. Like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a lethal this turn. Like,
no.
If it sets up lethal, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, because Delta's hand is just not getting the job done with how far ahead the Arcane is. And this will most certainly force the Twisting Nether. But the question is Delta going to be dead anyway? That's 6 damage getting pushed.
Oh no, he missed it!
Oh yeah, that had to be pushed because then the Leroy Eviscerate dagger would be lethal. That 1 damage was extremely important.
Oh my god, Arcane, why?
I mean, yeah, if Delta draws another one of those ambushed Nerubians, then Reno will be active, and this could be a huge punish.
Yep.
Wow. That dagger poke was so important. Because it set up lethal.
Yeah, no, that was exactly what he needed to do. He has exactly enough mana to go Leroy Jenkins Eviscerate Hero Power.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, okay, we're going to Shadow Flame this? Save the Nether?
I don't know why you'd save the Nether.
Yeah, because Nether... Man, when is something going to be bigger than 8 health?
Yeah, Twisting Nether has no better use in this matchup. Even if some concealed board comes out, you still have Shadow Flame as an option.
Yeah, and Mountain Giant actually has really good application for taunting. Assuming there's got to be either Sun Fury or Defender of Argus, or both, or Faceless Shambler or something. Yeah, so missed opportunity, but will it go punished?
God, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope it does. I really hope this Nerubian comes out next turn so we can Reno.
We take Drain Life because it's damage. The others... Mirror Entity is kind of cool, but Drain Life is just consistent. It does what you want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, especially when you're at a stage where you are
Many options.
staring down lethal.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be interesting if Delta does get hit by an ambush, then Reno's active, but then at the same time there will be a
Oh!
huge board to hit. Why? What the?
So that was the worst out of the three options, right?
Okay. I mean, yeah, because Azure Drake and Small Time would have just been better. I mean, it depends on what's left in the deck, but you gotta imagine Azure Drake can find you something useful: Backstab, Fan of Knives, a second Sap if it's in there.
So now, oh, hey, he was really hoping for
He
that.
was hoping to get the thing.
Oh, he doesn't realize that it's not active.
Incredible.
He did not realize that it wasn't active.
He wasn't dead to board. Yeah, I mean, Reno Jackson used to glow, but now he glows.
Right.
That's
yeah.
sad.
Like he definitely didn't realize it because he has
Yeah.
like so many other plays. He has Siphon Soul that he could have gone with.
Right.
If,
He's
if
not
you're- if
obviously
you're-
dead.
If you're playing a minion, you're playing Emperor.
Alright, well, Arcane's gonna go with the flavor of the Doomguard here, rather than the good old Leroy Jenkinsons. Okay, well, this is gonna be a 5-game series. This is a interesting game there that could have gone better for both sides, to say
Jeez.
the least.
Oh my god.
So it's gonna come down to the mage, which we'll finally get to see what kind.
We get to
That
watch
is-
Reno Mage against Reno. I really hope it's Reno Mage against Reno Warlock because I'm gonna go grab a beer. I need it.
We'll see.
You asked for it.
Your soul shall be mine.
Yep, it's Tempo Mage. Okay, so the Shaman Man makes oodles of sense now. Keeping Mirror Image, Dan's game.
I ran out of beer. All I have is old-fashioned Angry Orchard cider.
Well, do what you gotta do. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, so D-Lineman, Arcane kept Mirror Image in the mulligan, and it seems weird.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because he's not facing down an aggro deck.
No.
Mirror Image actually just doesn't accomplish anything. If he had Mana Worm with that opening hand that had Mirror Image, then there's some small merit to it.
Very
But-
small.
but still not enough.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Antonice is sitting there. He sure would like that Mirror Image at some point, but man, that's a ways away.
Side effects? No. Trust
So I have to go with Mistress of Mixtures.
Yeah, could have gone with Doomsayer or Shadowbolt, but just at least tries to give the Mistress a chance and has 4 health to gain from it, so...
But that's like
Letting sorcerers go unattended like this is very dangerous.
I mean, okay, so think of it. I think of it this way: you're going to big into Tempo Mage. You're playing this Mistress of Mixtures, and you're hoping it's going to trade into a Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Very optimistic.
What about Tempo Mage makes you think that's going to work?
Like any removal will kill the Mistress, especially with
Yeah.
the sorcerers to discount it, especially.
You have Arcane Missiles, Arcane Blast, Frostbolt. Those are three 2-ofs in the deck right there.
Yeah.
That kill Mistress of Mixtures, and those are 3 2-ofs that are kept in the opening hand a lot of the time.
Yeah, it just uses the fireball because trading the minions was going to be pretty expensive. And just save the missiles, yeah. Well, Shadowbolt Doomsayer? MC Tech has potential, but
I don't mind MC Tech. If MC Tech steals, oh god, it did. It got
You
the
could do-
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
you could do MC. Oh, now you can do the Shadowbolt. Wow.
Oh, he got him.
If it got anything else, like Barnes would have been really good too, and then you could have played the Doomsayer and given Arcane a pretty awkward decision. So yeah, MC Tech.
Yeah,
It was a 50-50 though to steal a good target.
yeah, it was. Stealing a bad target would have been actually really bad because he doesn't have
Yeah, they were
Reno in
bad.
hand.
So Delta's more than capable of trading back. Argus seems interesting. You could just trade away quite a bit and then go with Emperor.
Yeah.
instead. Just Naked Emperor going into turn 6. A Fireball got used.
You could just not to tap. I think that's probably correct. Actually,
With the one Fireball used and Mistress still out here to die.
that's true. Fireball was already used. That does change it quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the hand quality is pretty good, but still at the same time, you'd like to fish for Kazakus and Reno at all. Just
In fact,
Sylvanas.
And I think you're in a situation where you really want to get to the Reno as soon as possible. Like, I don't think you win a value game against Tempo Mage at this stage because your health is kind of low. Like, Tempo Mage is just going to draw into burn or, Flame Waker shenanigans. You probably do want to get to Reno, so I don't mind tap Siphon Soul at all since you still already have a board for pressure.
Yeah, well, obviously you don't want to tap last. Oh, we did. Yeah, so Delta really values these minions that he's got on board. Didn't want to trade them away and play a 6-drop or something. Yeah, Flamewaker should. I was thinking Flamewaker should wait, but
I don't
this
think
is
so
a
at
lot.
this stage. Yeah.
Fireland Spoil didn't have the juicy target that you'd come to expect.
Oh, please. Oh, God.
Yeah, and Flamewaker's kind of an awkward minion. Grant now that the Shadow Bolt was used, but Kazakus gets drawn into, and there's also Twilight Drake. Are the two of those better than just Sylvanas?
I think the nice thing about Sylvanas is that it makes Arcane a little less hesitant to go for crazy spell shenanigans. I don't know about Sylvanas and Doomsayer.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm not sure what that accomplishes unless he's just really trying to avoid burn going to his face, who's putting as much health on his board as possible. But at 20, I'm not sure how much you're worried about when you've already seen a Fireball go down.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Sylvanas Sayer is that the combination of these two cards is awkward enough to basically ensure that this is always going to be the result. And that sets him up for, I guess, Kazakus into a 5-mana potion, which might be some combination of resummoning things, maybe gaining armor.
So here you Kazakus first because
because there's no downside.
In your hand anyway.
Yeah, if you got armor or something, or resummoning minions maybe, but what minions died? Doomsayer was played, so that's awkward, but...
Sylvanas also died.
Oh, we're getting 10 mana.
Yeah. It's a bit optimistic. Especially, did he get the sweep 6? Nope, he didn't.
He got summon 3 friendly minions and give them health. I'm not sure if sweep was there as an option. Just playing Ragao. Keeping mana worms makes a lot of sense, actually. Actually, this Sorcerer's Apprentice and Antonidas are pretty sick. You can guarantee the cheap spells that way.
Oh, what a god.
Wow, that's Sylvanas throw. It's actually pretty awkward because she's so healthy that she'll only die with Shadow Flame.
Alright, let's see him pull off the mains real quick.
Man, the Sylvanas is really great.
So you can go Sorcerer's Apprentice first, yep.
Right, and then just Frostbolt the Sylvanas.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Right.
I mean,
want to
it
deny
can still
her.
be Shadow Flamed. And it's gonna be. Like, we know this.
You want to deny her from attacking because she can get manipulated by Hellfire, things like Demon Wrath, just like little ways where she can trade and then also get killed.
Oh, I think you Dirty Rat before you Shadow Flame, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many things that should be big enough to withstand.
And even if they are, you just run a minion into it.
Yeah. Unless there's not some crazy lethal getting.
I mean, going further, you could have Brand Dirty Rat Shadow Flamed.
Yeah. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what else is happening. I guess Emperor's happening. Yeah. I mean, either way, even
You're
if that
getting a rag,
Dirty
you're
Rat
putting 4
could happen.
power on board. You already have 6 on board plus the rag. Like, you don't need the Emperor.
No.
But what you do need is to make sure that nothing weird happens on this turn that can happen by way of minions being played.
Right. Because these two fireballs aren't a big deal. In fact, Arcane's gonna have to use them defensively, right?
Yes.
Mana worm, fireball, fireball.
Yes, I would say so.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. He's playing a little risky with that rag, especially. Whoa. Okay, he's just a god,
He's a god.
but he's gonna die to Leroy.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Grim Patron.
Well,
Oh my god, Delta Y.
I'll tell you the story of this game. Cards of this match. Cards were played.
Yeah.
Somebody won.
Yep.
But I'm not convinced that somebody deserved to win.
Yeah. But someone had to win.
Mm-hmm. I think the true winner here is the Angry Orchard Company, because they gave me this match gave me a reason to buy some more.
Yeah. Thanks, Angry Orchard. Maybe we'll get sponsored. XD. All right. Next up, we got Boom Boom Hall going up against Force of Will. Force of Will on NWA. Boom Boom Hall's on. Delta can't believe it.
Look at Boom Boom Hall sitting there at rank
Boom
1.
Boom Hall on Zenergy. Yeah. He's winning the race. D Lyman not so much.
Yeah.
So actually, I've been very bad, and I need to look at the series. Oh, no games played. It's a fresh series, 0-0 on a Saturday between Zenergy and NWA. That's pretty impressive.
So NWA right now is trying to hold on to potentially being the fourth seed in the Black Yellow Conference in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, they're there. If they started today, they would be there. It's I think they've already played both of the yellow teams above them. So,
is there anyone close to them on either side? I don't think so.
I think some black teams are kind of. Here, let me go double check. These standings aren't the most accurate though. Danger Zone's kind of coming up on them. Initium Novum's kind of there now too, but they've played matches, so it's kind of skewed. They can be caught relatively easily. In fact, they might even play one of those teams left. I'd have to look at the schedule. That'd be very interesting if that was the case. But yeah, NW is just kind of trying to ride the yellow train in and be the third yellow team that makes it for that conference.
Meanwhile, I think Zenergy's just on a spoil parade right now. They're trying to just get some points, make a statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zenergy just wants some respect, man. All right, so Boom Boom's got Mage, Rogue, Shaman, Warrior. That's exactly what Arcane had. Force of Will has Mage, Priest, Shaman, Warrior. So some Priest action.
So I think this match is going to come down very heavily to what gets banned, like super heavily, because it is very possible when you have lineups that are as similar as this, and you see the Rogue Priest difference there, and you would tend to believe, well, Mage, Rogue, Shaman, Warriors got to be favored against Mage, Priest, Shaman, Warrior because you have the Rogue Priest possibility of a matchup.
Yes.
And that is the sort of thing that would tend me to believe, well, maybe Rogue's getting banned.
Yeah, it's possible because, let's see. So when it comes to Force of Will's Mage, Reno Mage against Shaman, Warrior, you're kind of comfortable with that. The Mage would be the Mirror, and you're not banning Mage because your Priest shines there quite a bit.
Right.
Like
you think of it this way: if you're expecting your Shaman to get banned, your Shaman or your Warrior to get banned, then your matchup against Rogue actually doesn't even look that good anymore.
No.
Right? Then you have Reno Mage, probably Dragon Priest, and the remainder of Shaman and Warrior going up against Rogue, and unless you're able to get that one matchup that's good against Rogue, it doesn't look pretty good. And this is a situation where you have to anticipate what is your opponent going to ban. And you look at Mage, Rogue, Shaman, Warrior, there's no way they're banning Mage.
No. Yeah, and I'd be more interested actually to see if an interesting band like that comes down against the Rogue. I'd be interested to see if Force of Will builds either this Shaman or this Warrior kind of differently, because if you're playing a Warrior, like, you love your Pirate Warrior to go up against Rogue, you hate it to go up against Shaman. So do you build a different Pirate Warrior? Not that many Warriors are going to be very good against Mage, but
I think ultimately what it comes down to is that I think you would ban the rogue and just pitch the mage. I mean, like, the mage is what it is. If you can get your priest against it, that's great. But then you're looking at those classes that you're not banning. You're not banning shaman. You're not banning warrior. So what does that mean? That means you
So
might
can
need
play
to bring
control
control
warrior.
warrior. Right. You might need to bring control warrior. You might need to bring a slower shaman build that's
Mhm.
that's more durable in those matchups. And you might need to build your Reno mage in a way that more hard targets those than otherwise.
Yeah, just not the freeze mage sort of deal that
Right.
just like grindy value anti aggro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be really impressed if Force of Will went through that banning Rogue and building the Shaman and Warrior to be like that, because Shaman gets banned about half the time in the league, but when it stays up, that's when things get interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really the way to go about it, because any other route that you take leaves you in the dust a little bit. It leaves you on your back foot. You've got to recognize that and plan accordingly. And that's what's special about our format, as opposed to, say, an open tournament or whatever the case is that now you don't need to bring Pirate Warrior or Dragon Warrior. Now
Right.
you can make the relevant decision to bring a slower lineup, given that if you don't ban Rogue, you're probably in a bad spot.
Yeah, and the fun thing is that Boom Boom Hall gets to make all these decisions too.
Yep.
On the other side, Boom Boom Hall's probably excited about playing. Well, maybe he's not thrilled about playing the Rogue. He probably might be surprised if it were to get banned.
I mean, Boom Boom Hall's probably thinking, how do I protect my Rogue?
Yeah,
And that's what makes this so interesting. That's why I think it comes down so hard to these bans, because if you build your lineup surrounding protecting certain classes or protecting certain matchups, and in those matchups or those classes get banned.
yeah. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and for Force of Will, the NWA is the one who needs the points more, so to have that level of preparation would be really, really cool to see. Yeah, so NWA needs the points more, so to see that sort of preparation would be really interesting to see. But they're playing now.
You asked for it.
Nice.
All right. I bet Force of Will emotes more, so I'll put him on top so I can squelch him.
Not sure what got banned, but they are in.
Ooh.
Oh. So Priest ban from Boom Boom Hall, having brought Rogue, and Force of Will bans Boom Boom Hall's Warrior.
Man, so I'm gonna tell you what.
Whoa.
I'm gonna tell you what. I promise you, Boom Boom Hall expected this Rogue to get banned every time.
Because he banned Priest. Yeah. Actually, Boom Boom Hall must have gone through everything that we thought and figured that the Rogue was going down, because banning Priest is wow. And then on top of that, Boom Boom Hall has some really interesting deck building here. Has not even just a mid-jade shaman, but what's more of a control-oriented one. Yeah, it's got elemental destruction, and that's a massive tell.
I mean, it could be. He also has ancestral knowledge, right?
Yeah, what's that all about?
Yeah, so it could simply be him opting for elemental destructions over lightning storms. I'm not entirely sure how these mid-range lists look entirely past Maelstrom Portal, but
Yeah.
I know that they can run at least one lightning storm. Now the double elemental destruction is a huge surprise for me.
Right. Because with elemental destruction comes lava shock. Yeah, this is very VLPS is playing this style quite a bit. A lot of people are. It's that sort of list you see at the bottom of the Vicious Syndicate report.
Yeah, Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't see how double elemental destruction helps you against Reno Mage. I mean, if the entire package though might be quite durable, but it might not be fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, Elemental Destruction's probably not shining, but the normal Jade stuff here that makes it good is still around, so that's a plus. I'm guessing there's no Flame Tongue in this deck because the minions are not being placed as though there are.
Yeah. And I'm looking at I see it.
Cool.
I can dig it. So I'm looking
Got
at
the
this.
Tonto, that helps.
I'm looking at this hand at 4 from Force of Will, and if over the next couple of turns he picks up a couple of spells, this Emperor is going to be huge with the Archmage Antonidas and the Alexstrasza in his hand already.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Is the Emperor premature now? Because the spells getting discounted aren't that great, but Antonidas himself gets discounted.
I think it's premature. I also think you have a strong play here with the Forgotten Torch Volcanic Potion.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's really good. I'm not sure what else was going to get done. You always have to keep in mind that while the board was kind of non-threatening, although you like to kill Mana Tide whenever you can, the threat of Bloodlust at any point.
All right, so you Maelstrom Portal first here every time because you can get Buccaneer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
And also
either way,
because
Maelstrom.
And also because of Inspire.
Yeah. There's
But
lots
he
of
actually did it in the complete opposite order.
Yeah.
Never punished.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, rolling the totem first because spell damage really wasn't all that relevant.
It just wasn't relevant at all. It wasn't
You
important.
needed the weapon to get through.
I mean, if he got the spell power totem, he could have lava shocked instead. But I find it very unlikely that he was gonna that he wasn't going to Jade Claws.
Mm-hmm. So,
And that's also like a 1 in 4 to play a lava shock, which still really isn't even that good in that situation.
no.
Like you'd much rather play the lava shock after an ancestral knowledge elemental destruction turn if it's ever relevant.
Yeah, Boom Boom's just gonna hold off her spells now. Probably wants to try and kill this Burgly Bully without. Oh wow, so there's Bran Kazakus. You don't really need to save those for the Manic Soulcaster.
No, I don't think you do. I think there's a lot of merit in Bran Kazakis right now.
Yeah, just get potions. You know you're up against a Jade deck, so probably just go for 10s, right?
I can get behind a 5 and a 10. You can do 5 first, see what 5s you get, because you're still staring down a board that like is gonna grow and you'll need to have answers to.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things where like you go for the 10, and if the 10's in the neighborhood of what you're looking for in it, then you can more likely pick up the 5. But if the 10 is like, if you don't get the sheep or the 6 damage, then
I mean, I think with the okay, so here's the thing: is that when you look at Force of Will's hand, he has a hand that tends very well for this game, ending in about 3 or 4 turns, right? Because he has Alexstrasza, he has Archmage Antonidas, and he has Blood Mage Stalnos.
Here's a thought: with Bran Kazakus, you can even find 1 mana spells if you want to defeat Antonidas, but the board clears just seem way more important.
Oh man, I think you Alexstrasza there every single time.
Yeah,
every single time. Boom hauls 3 mana next turn.
What's going on with the Emperor discounted, which lets some more of these combos go off, like with Manic Soulcaster, but are you gonna put the Kazakus into your deck right now and leave yourself not being able to Reno if you were to ever draw?
I don't think you care about Reno in this matchup.
Yeah, it's probably fine. Okay, so he went for the 5, then the 10 got a pretty good initial board clear.
Like it's got to be Alexstrasza there every single time.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Because you got the coin off of it. You pick up most of the spells in your deck at this point that you haven't drawn yet are 4 or less, right?
Is this the elemental? No.
Nah, he doesn't need to.
No, just have to get rid of Brand. Let's see, what are the Jades up to?
Alright, well, here
Just
he
a
can go
measly
Alexstrasza
3-3.
ping.
Oh, hi, Kazakis. It's back.
Yeah, I like Alexstrasza ping because then the following turn you get the Archmage Antonidas coin Kazakis potion.
Wow, that is a play. Antonidas coin Kazakis potion.
Oh
Just
man,
Kazakis
but this is like
potion.
tremendously premature. It's got to be
Pretty weak.
tremendously premature, right?
It's, also, it forces the ping, and you don't want to coin out Kazakis either. So now Force of Will's on the.
Oh,
Oh, okay, we're using the coin. Oh,
so here's the thing: if you Alexstrasza now, next turn, being able to go Archmage Antonidas coin Kazakis potion pretty much clears the board most of the time. And the
Oh.
times that it doesn't, it leaves up something that you're still not worried about, right? Because you're still at 30 health.
Also,
it just
let's
sets up-
not. I think there's even something I didn't even think about before. There was huge incentive to play Alexstrasza because a Jinyu Water Speaker got played.
Exactly.
Yeah, Alexstrasza might get Hex, but that Water Speaker was an open invitation
Absolutely.
for Alexstrasza. I mean, it's still there. But yeah, Boom Boom Hall really took advantage of that potion having been played. You might expect another, but you just kind of they gotta get it played at some point.
That Kazakis.
It's gonna a 10. Okay, he's at 30 health, but Bloodlust can get you, man.
Yeah. Oh man,
These
I
decks
think-
will run Bloodlust.
man, it's so tough because especially looking at that Frostbolt that got picked up, Force of Will had a victory here.
Oh yeah, Frostbolt with Antonidas. Okay, you got the sheep. Sheep plus damage.
Because he was getting 2 spells off of Antonidas if you want with the dimension line of play, which is
Yeah, Antonidas coin Kazakis potion.
and the Kazakis potion does 5 damage. Like he didn't even need to pick up Frostbolt because 5 of that damage goes face. Because that Kazakis potion was deal 5 sweep 4.
Right. Maybe. What do you think about playing the Jade Spirit rather than the Jade Chieftain here?
What, so you can totem with it?
No, not that you can totem. It's just you just saw another Kazakis potion
Get picked
Stuff
up
up.
and yeah, and the Jade Spirit is just a
Less
less
of an
threatening body than
investment.
the 5/5.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think what it comes down to is that the way that Boom Boom Hall wins this matchup involves quite a significant grind through these next few turns. That the potential 3 damage coming from the Jade Chieftain over the Jade Spirit is largely insignificant given what the state of the board is going to be on a turn that he wins.
hmm
But I think it is still relevant to consider.
Now this is the board that Force of Will wanted to sheep.
Yep.
Because Aya's part of it.
I mean, he gets the sheep, but I don't think he wins, right?
Sheeps and clears, and then
kills it all.
yeah, like
And
Alex
then
Strauss
he's
is
gonna
still
have to
sitting there.
Kazakis potion the Jade Spirit, Jade Golem. But then
Yeah,
that gets
wow.
hexed.
There really were several turns where Alex Strauss was like could have gone into a non-threatening board.
I mean, obviously, Boom Boom Hall can brick over these next couple of turns.
Right. It's all reaction at this point. Blizzard's kind of neat because you can slowly take down that 8/8 act if you ping it. I mean, you can ping it no matter what next turn. But
Yeah,
Healing
and
Totem can screw you.
I actually do like playing the Acolyte of Pain over pinging it there. Because
Mhm.
then the Acolyte of Pain would be able to run into the 2/1.
Right. Because you're still looking for a few things. You're still looking for Reno.
And he just got crushed.
Yeah,
by
I got
that
the Healing
Totem.
Totem. Yeah, it just uses the Jade Lightning to try and set up a more consistent lethal.
That being said, I think the Kazakis potion on that 8/8 was still better. Simply because that's the only time that Kazakis potion is killing a Jade Golem from this point forward.
Oh yeah, true. That was an option. Like the Blizzard got picked up, but
Like
Yeah.
Kazakus Potion doesn't kill anything else for the rest of the game.
Right, like the Kazakus potion not having been played, the Alexstrasza, like so many expensive things that just rot if they don't get played the moment they're
Ooh,
released. Oh
there's
wow, that
a little
helps.
bit of heal.
It'd still be dead, but
Yeah, he's still dead, but he doesn't know that.
you
for
can
sure.
hope. Pretty neat. Imagine if something like this won the game, but no. Lava Shock will end up being the difference. Huh. Alright, so interesting. Force of Will still has Mage to go up against fellow Mage and Rogue.
So now the Priest ban makes tons more sense, right?
Yeah.
Because like Priest runs over this deck from Boom Boom Hall for sure. Now I'm wondering, this Warrior deck might be a Control Warrior. He left the Shaman open.
Oh, you mean Boom Boom's Warrior that ended up
Yeah.
getting banned?
Oh, that's right. But yeah,
It's totally. I wouldn't be surprised if he had played that. I know a little about Boom Boom Hall. I played him many seasons ago, and he's very inventive when it comes to his deck preparation.
Mhm.
All options are open. Yeah. So now Boom Boom has Mage and
I'm not sure about this about what looks like it's a concerted anti-aggro effort while having Rogue in your lineup, but
yeah, which is always kind of they just don't coincide. We don't have heal bot anymore.
Watch your back.
Yeah, so now Boom Boom's gonna check out the Rogue. I think Rogue is maybe the one that's less likely.
and we're looking at
To bring it
it
home,
looks like
bring
a
it home.
Dragon Warrior from Force of Will.
Okay, Dragon Warrior's good news. This is exactly what you want to see as a Rogue. You'd much prefer this over the Pyro Warrior.
Yeah.
I think the win percentage differences are massive. It's
Yeah.
like definitely
think that,
double digits. in
Like really, what it
percentage.
comes down to is like the Dragon Warrior is actually pretty much like not in a good spot against Miracle Rogue unless it's running like Arcanite Reaper anyway. Like the Arcanite Reaper is really what shifts this matchup back as a pretty heavy favorite in the Dragon Warrior's favor.
Oh, Brass Knuckles. Yeah, so it's a shame Boom Boom Hall got patches.
Oh look, new card. What does it do?
New card, Brass Knuckles. This is one people were pretty much universally against.
After your hero attacks, give a random minion in your hand +1/+1 learning.
Oh, Boom Boom Hall's going with Beneath the Grounds too. That's it's only good against Mage. Very useless against others unless it's a Control Warrior.
So now I wonder if his lineup was actually just simply built to counter a Mage. Or
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
what
it's like
I think it
hard
looks like is
countering.
that he's giving all of his decks two good matchups in Force of Will's lineup.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh wow, it's Edmund time.
Oh, Patches backstab coin Edwin. Get your money, girl.
It's kind of the interesting thing about Rogue is that sometimes you draw patches, but it doesn't always have to be bad because he combos with Cold Blood, he combos with Questing Adventure. He gets work done.
Oh, look at that big booty hoe.
That's an 8/8. Darn. Now the 14/14. Never gonna happen.
So if you're Force of Will,
You got that execute.
just have the execute. And I think that's just it. Yeah, like you just take that 8 to the face and execute it. That's probably a 1 of execute too, so he's really lucky.
Yeah, I think it's a 1-up for sure. And it's it's in there just for this moment. He
Yep.
armors up, which like you could do Korkron small time next turn, but maybe you want an Azure Drake. I don't know.
It's the same reason why some aggro shaman lists are running Earthshock. I mean, obviously there are taunts, but also you don't immediately lose to an unanswerable Edwin or questing.
Right. Yeah, like you're basically an aggro deck, but this one's more mid-rangey. The aggro shaman, the shamans that do Earthshock, they just want to hedge for the value game that they can play sometimes too, due to the Jades. Alright, so this ended up getting played the next turn anyway. So how good is Brass Knuckles?
Well,
play it here. You buff small time. That's not very relevant, but kinda.
I mean, it's just not relevant at all. I think
It's
you
gonna
play
deal
small
more
time first.
damage, but that's it. And that doesn't.
Yeah, I think you play small time first there every time. Like it's just not relevant, right? Like the one damage and attack is not relevant at this stage, and the one damage and health doesn't change. I mean, the one health doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it
All the
changes
removal is
slam if anything. Meanwhile, giving your Leroy an extra attack could make the difference. It seems unlikely the way
Even
things.
there, the only difference is that slam draws instead of killing it outright.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, that came out fast.
It's pretty good.
Ambush
Oh,
came out.
oh,
Oh, another one.
oh!
Too bad
Please,
he's
triple. Oh, oh, double
Oh,
execute.
double execute.
Well played.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, this is 1-1. That's
And now,
really something. Double
very relevant
execute.
information is that Force of Will saw that beneath the grounds.
Yeah, that's a big deal because sometimes as Arena Mage, you're on turn 4 against a rogue. You've got Kazakus, maybe you've got some sort of beefier minion, or you've got some answer you want to do to like kill a Tomb Pillager or something. But with knowledge like this, you just rush those cards out as soon as you can. Obviously not unless it's pretty good. But yeah. Things to think about. Boom Boom Hall felt really good about the rogue, queued it up. Is he going to continue with it?
Thrall versus Medivh.
Maybe find that. I mean, if you're Force of Will, you don't queue Mage into that. You're like, I saw that beneath the grounds. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
For Doomhammer, etc. Also playing the mid-range one.
But this one is a flame
Oh, yeah,
tongue totem, so it's a
actual
more standard Jade mid range.
Yeah, with Flame Tongue and yeah. Yeah, these mid-range shamans can actually. I mean, they're technically mid-range, but they can get just about as aggressive as the other versions can. With pirates, etc.
So this is a pretty significant start here for Force of Will. Boom Boom Hall doesn't have any good answers at all to what Force of Will is looking to curve
Well,
out.
there you go.
In the Frostbolt's a good pickup, but it's gonna pale now when like if you were to coin. I mean, he's probably gonna go Jade Claws into maybe Flame Tongue Totem, but he can even coin out the Manatide Totem and can't do anything about it if he were to Frostbolt.
Pings the patches, so he's definitely not pinging the small time over 2 turns. Does this mean he's playing just the nude brand to try and contest? Or I mean, there's always Frostbolt. There's also
always
always
Frostbolt.
You don't have to be in a huge hurry.
Man,
It just kind of sucks that now the Frost. I mean, they don't always have the weapon, but they run quite a few of them, so you expect to take 3.
so think about this. You just saw the Frostbolt. Do you coin out Manatide? Because like, what answers are left? Polymorph and
Yeah.
Forgotten Torch, and is that it? Fireball, and you
Yeah,
have those.
coining out Madtide would be great.
Yeah, like out of all of those, you're happy with. The only one that you're upset about is Forgotten Torch, but you're not even that upset about it.
Not really sure what the coin's all about. Anyway, I mean, it can bail you out from some overloaded turns sometimes. This is not the greatest Flame Tongue positioning, which could matter quite a bit. Yeah, so the Jades aren't too big yet. Boom Boom Hall has Blizzard, which I played some Reno Mage against some of these mid-range shamans, and I find that using Blizzard on turn 6 to even clear a board can be a huge regret. Because sometimes you really need that ability later in the game to stall a bigger board. It depends a lot whether you run things like Ink Master.
Yeah, it also depends a lot. Yeah, exactly. What is the follow up is really what it comes down to. And,
Right.
And as we can see here in Boom Boom Hall's hand, there's not really a great follow up to Blizzard at all.
There really isn't. But there's Iceblock and Reno, so now there's at least some sort of time but there's a lot of annoying stuff on the board. Manatide continues to get out of control.
So he can try to play this close to the vest and maybe set up a better Blizzard in a later turn and just take this damage now and hope to Reno in 2 turns.
Yeah, so you could ice block and just ping something, so the Blizzard could be.
I mean, no matter
potentially
what,
next.
it doesn't feel good, right? Like none of those plays felt good. So
Well,
Boom
one
wants
thing's
to
for
drop
sure,
it.
if this Azure Drake sticks, which pretty sure it won't, pretty sure that 4/2 Golem will always take it out.
Yeah.
It's really good news for Forcible though, because at any point that this board gets cleared, it's just bam, Bran Aya.
What do you think about the option to hero power there instead of playing Aya Blackpaw?
I think Aya's getting safe for Bran. I think that's pretty reasonable.
I think so too.
Yeah. Aya Bran is just, well, no, not Aya Bran. Bran Aya is just.
So this
So
isn't
good.
bad. He has the option to go Ice Block and maybe ping and Forbidden Flame on a Manatide Totem if he wants to continue to take it slow and wait for a better Blizzard. And the reason why I say ping and Forbidden Flame is because of Arcane Giant, obviously.
Ping and so ping the minion and yeah.
Not an Arcane Giant, Frost Giant. That's the
Frost
one.
Giant, yeah, it could happen. Yeah, and you take out the Manatide because misplay.
Misplay.
You're not bothered about continuing to take more damage. It's not too big of a concern. That Dirty Rat's gonna be interesting. Bran, Dirty Rat, Polymorph.
I mean, I think you just Dirty Rat Blizzard, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so Force of Will's really trying to make that Flame Strike happen. He's giving Boom Boom Hall really good boards to Flame Strike, which would have happened last turn, probably.
But in fact, I don't think you have the luxury to Dirty Rat Blizzard anymore, because I think you kind of want to kill that Manatide Totem at every opportunity. And also, it's not only killing the Manatide Totem, but it gives you the flexibility to over 2 turns kill both the Manatide and the Flame Tongue. If you don't Dirty Rat, right? Like if you Blizzard, ping, that kills one, and then the following turn you can Reno Jackson ping the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You shall not pass.
Right. Yeah, there's also something to be said for just getting put into a position where you're forced to Reno after you've been popped, rather than having better flexibility. Now there's a bunch of stuff to ping.
Yeah,
Gonna be rich.
but still, it's just.
So you take out Flame Tongue because of the trades.
Mhm.
There's so many cards at this point. Wow, now there's a Jade Claws to go with the brand, but the coin got used. So.
I think to go further, you also gave him 2 turns to get the healing totem. And you gave him 2 turns to do it this way.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, Force of Will didn't opt to even roll for the totems at all, but
No, just went for the Maelstrom, which it was a 3 damage Maelstrom. Pretty good. Yeah, not much more. Just Firelane's Portal, hope for something to help fight back.
yeah, you can drop the Mistress of Mixtures. I mean, the 2/1 eats it up, but
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kill the 2/1 at some point, and you're not sitting at a very encouraging health total either when you're staring down at 9 damage.
Yeah, wow. The Jades are going to continue to roll. In fact, Force of Will could suicide the 1/1 maybe, just to get more impactful stuff out there.
So Force of Will was what? 1 damage off popping the block unless he rolled a spell power totem, then he could have popped the block.
Yeah, and if you could ever pop the block, you definitely would, because I think you'd even you'd have enough to beat up an Alexstrasza play. Just goes for the brand now. I mean, there's been no AoE up to this point.
Yeah, I also think that
So-
given that you already saw Reno Jackson, I think that that was a wonderful opportunity to identify the scenario of you finding the outs to win the game quickly, right? Because you want to get you want to be able to pop that block from Boom Boom Hall before he's able to find something like, say, a Flame Strike, Archmage Antonidas Frost Nova. You don't have any Hex in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, these are all things that you're worried about.
I don't think it hurts Force of Will to go fast.
And that Servant of Yogg-Saron doesn't bother you. You have a Shield Bearer on board. If he has a Flame Strike, you're losing to that Flame Strike regardless, right? You still have a Lightning Storm in your hand, if anything, along with the Jade Claw's weapon. And it's not like you're looking at any good boards to Lightning Storm ever in this matchup. And to go even further, yeah, there was still that 1 in 4 chance to pop his Ice Block if you rolled a Spell Power Totem, and I think you can just start with that. And if nothing else, yeah, you can push a ton of damage.
Yeah. So can Emperor be killed and also pop the block? With Lightning Storm, definitely. Or
What
just
is-
in general, you can do it. Why are we using the weapon?
This was strange.
Why?
So yeah, so if the Azure Drake goes face along with the sheep, right? Like that pops the block instead of the Jade Claws and the Jade Spirit and the sheep.
Right.
Your Lightning Storm is doing 3 or 4 damage.
That Azure Drake didn't attack, so the weapon was never necessary. Right.
Yes.
The
Exactly.
weapon could have been held, and yeah, that's a big deal for the Alexstrasza, but there's what, 9? Yeah, there's more than 15 damage on board, so Alexstrasza wasn't saving anybody. So now it's Force of Will only has Mage left, which is Reno. Boom Boom Hall had at least one Beneath the Grounds teched into the Rogue, so you prefer that over the Mirror, possibly. I don't know. I haven't played too much of these rogues with their Beneath the Grounds, but you can get the matchup you wanted. You teched for it.
Mhm.
Jaina versus Valera.
Watch
Yeah, there you go.
your back.
Wonder if it's something that you keep in your mulligan. It's so weird.
So what's the series at?
Beneath the Grounds. Force of Will's up 2-1.
Okay.
Only has Mage left. Boom Boom's got Mage and Rogue.
But Boom Boom Hall's gotta feel good about this matchup, given that he's running the Beneath the Grounds. I mean, that's what he put it in there in the first place for. And then looking ahead,
Wow.
let's see, looking ahead, he still has his
Mage.
Mage.
Double Auctioneer. Wow. Oh my god, I should mute myself. Yeah, so nothing too fancy coming out for Force of Will. It's a really slow pace to start things off. You think you play the Manx Soulcaster for tempo? I think you would.
In this matchup, yeah, I mean, as is the recipe for beating Rogue hasn't really changed too much
No.
through these different iterations of Rogue Miracle decks, and it's keep playing minions.
Yeah.
Just,
There's also Doomsayer now, which doesn't go into. It's not preventing a Tomb Pillage or anything, but
actually doesn't do a damn thing, right? Like it just doesn't do anything,
it's very weird Doomsayer timing.
right? Like Doomsayer is very well used to prevent a Tomb Pillager from coming down, preventing Azure Drake, preventing Gadgets and Auctioneer from coming down, right? And so, which means that all you have to do is wait a single turn. Now, the nice thing about the Doomsayer is that it sets up, as you can see there, him being able to play the Water Elemental on curve.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
But when you're looking at a 9-card hand from Boom Boom Hall, like, it's not unheard of for a prep staff to come down with a minion.
Yeah.
Now, thankfully, the prep didn't come to be, but the fact of the matter still stands that the Manic Soulcaster accomplishes really the same thing.
Right. Maybe the rogue would have backstabbed it or something, but that would have been.
That would have been fine. You'd much rather him use the backstab there without comboing it than using it with a Gadgetzan and Auctioneer, or before an Edwin or Requesting Adventure.
Oof. Bullet dodge with this Beneath the Grounds. I think Boom Boom Hall's looking to probably do some sort of cycling into that being prepped with Pillager now. You play Kazakus? No?
Job's done.
I like playing Kazakus there.
Yeah, because you gotta wonder, okay, how's this gonna go south for me? It goes south by Auctioneer getting played, and you don't have an answer.
So what do you think here? Boom Boom Hall had the option to go Gadgetzan, Coin, Conceal, Prep Beneath the Grounds.
Yeah, wow. With the prep picked up now, there seemed like there could be huge argument for doing the Gadgetzan turn, but maybe he just really wants to get that coin and that extra cycle since there's two of them. I really don't know. Huh.
So what is he? So he's saving this Kazakus for a Brand Bronzebeard in this matchup? Are you kidding me? This isn't a
That's,
value matchup at all.
Yeah, just pinging that turn can't really be. Oh my god! Now the Gadgetzan's insane. If he gets another coin, then he can eventually just Gadgetzan coin prep Edwin Conceal, but it won't be a 14/14 at that point. Which, ugh.
Yeah, I think Boom Boom Hall considered for a moment there doing something along the lines of two Pillager, Coin, Prep, Edwin, Conceal.
Yeah, but man, you can do the Edwin turn alongside Auctioneer.
Yeah.
And there's no Kazakus potion to even be afraid of. Whoa.
Oh, he's doing it. Or something similar.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But you prep first.
You prep first.
No!
It's just a misplay. Okay, he has no interest in concealing.
Okay.
Which seems weird, because concealing Gadgetzan's not that great.
I mean, okay. I mean, concealing Gadgetzan's not great. Not that great, but using the Conceal here might have actually been a little bit premature considering the possibility of Frost Nova or Blizzard.
Yeah.
Or even Flame Strike for that matter.
Yeah, Edwin's still here now, though, and you can
Yeah, you get the
retire
backstab.
now. And now there's Conceal, which
Oh, yeah, you
has
can even
already been summoned, so you don't have to play that.
So now, do you small time Buccaneer at all? I don't think you do.
No. Nice. Yeah,
No
nothing
reason.
to prep out. Could have prepped out the Conceal, but there's still another Auctioneer.
There's no reason to play into my control tech when you don't have to.
No. Yeah, it'd be if a Kazakus potion had been created, there could have been something to do here.
I mean, he could have still done a Kazakus potion for a $5.
Oh wait,
You,
what are we talking about? Beneath the Grounds got played. Kazakus is dead.
Oh, yes.
That window closed 3 turns ago.
Yep. You're right.
Or not even 4 turns ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we caught a case of the Delta 4-1s there.
I think there was one point, when the water elemental got replayed when it was sapped. That was the last point which Kazakus could have been played.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool.
Give me a quest.
Well, this is insane now that the Gadgetzan was able to stick. It all depends on. Well, even if you don't find more spells, you can always suicide the Tomb Pillager,
Mm-hmm.
which makes
So
a
I
lot
think
of
he
sense.
suicided Tomb Pillager first and used that coin.
You gotta get through. Yeah.
Also, you suicided Tomb Pillager before you dagger up because of
Right, because you might be doing something, like you might find Phantom Knives or something, and that'd be preferable to using the dagger, because you'd get 2 draws out of it. So we're just making this Edwin huge.
And he's not going to pop his bluff this turn, most likely because he decided not to play for the Phantom Knives.
Right. Dang. Oh, so close. 12
I mean, he
damage.
can still pick up the Eviscerate off of this Conceal. Oh, no. You can... oh, okay, he's going to... But still, no, you Conceal, prep. Wow. He's not gonna have time.
Oh, okay, no. Got
So
that.
he has 5 cards left in this deck. Highly likely he would have picked up that Eviscerate.
No Eviscerate's been played? No Eviscerate has been played. There were 2 of them.
2 Eviscerates were played?
No, 2. Not 1 has been played.
Not 1 hasn't played. Yeah, so there are 2 in this deck.
Do what to
Yep.
do.
So yeah, and popping would have been really significant, obviously, because, well, Reno's shut off. Kazakis is going to get played for tempo.
Mm,
Wouldn't you rather just do like Max Soulcaster, Burgly Bully, Ooze?
yeah.
I
I
wonder.
think someone's got a little case of the Delta 4-1s.
You win this.
Okay,
Whoa!
I'm just gonna wrap it up. I mean, it wasn't over.
So, like, what else does he have, right? So the outs that he has is the ambush cards come out, and he gets like a Reno Jackson Frost Nova.
Yeah.
And then past that, he would need to go Kazakis into 5 mana, sweep 4, polymorph a random enemy minion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So it was possible, but incredibly unlikely,
You ask
and perhaps he may not want to show off the cards in his deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's
Well,
not like
in the
any
end-
of those cards are unexpected anyway, so.
It's all coming down to Reno Mage Mirror.
Like, he might not want to show that Burgly Bully if he's going to lose anyway, which
Yeah, maybe
that
not.
much I think is fair. And the same thing with the Manic Soulcaster. You don't need, not all Reno Mage decks are running Manic Soulcaster, though most of them are.
Yep, most are, but not all of them. So this should be pretty interesting. They've already got some pretty good cards in hand. Reno's much, much later, but Kazakis, if you have no other play, you can play. You can choose to play as slowly as you want, though. And yeah, fatigue can be a factor, but my mindset's usually if I've got no other play, I'll gladly Arcane on turn 3. Not a whole lot. Looks like Boom Boom Hall's excited to play the Kazakis.
So in the Reno Mage Mirror, you save Kazakis for Bran every single time. Every
Yeah.
single time. It's not even a question.
I would think so.
And I think you also save that Mirror Entity for turn 5.
Yeah. It's just a question of, okay, so Force of Will's testing for Spellbender?
Counterspell and
And
Spellbender.
Counterspell? Yeah, you always want to check Counterspell with the coin first. Just some weird secret checking that ended up being real bad.
Right, because now he doesn't have any real follow-up here, right? Because that coin could have brought out an Emperor Thaurissan. Not that it would have been particularly good, but I think with this hand, I mean, he's cheap. He'd be discounting 2 3-mana spells and a 2-mana spell, and that's really significant. If he were to go that route, he need not. He could save the coin for, say, like an Archmage Antonidas, which we know he has in his deck.
What do you think about that? Dirty Rat could have been a disaster. There wasn't enough mana to use Polymorph. I mean, between the Water Elemental and the Forgotten Torch, a lot of other things could have been dealt with, but it was an interesting call to play it at that point.
Yeah, I think it was a turn early for sure. It's a little bit foolish, and I think this Kazakis is going to be really premature if he opts to play it. I think that no matter what in this matchup, you don't need to rush. Take your time, wait for Bran Bronzebeard.
Yeah, there's a
Especially
lot
when
of
you-
time, especially when you get Ice Block. Not that Reno's in hand, but when you have Ice Block, the game changes dramatically, because if you don't have Ice Block up, your opponent's much more likely to try and burn you out at some point.
Yeah, he has Ice Block and he has removal out the wazoo. So he can wait.
I almost wonder about saving the Forgotten Torch just to like hit and ping with the Dirty Rat, because you don't care about your minions that much, right? I mean, Forgotten Torch is not a great card, but
It's not.
it does things from hand.
I mean, I don't know. I think its best use is just killing a 3 health minion.
Grookfu Master!
Oh, what does this card do?
it's a very bad card.
Winter.
But he's threatening enough to get dealt with. Oh, I love Tuskar Jester. Wish it could be good. So we're definitely not Frostbolting. That's Antonius' Frostbolt right there.
Yeah. Oh.
Speaking of, so yeah, what's the thought process of using something like Forbidden Flame? You've got Polymorph, so I think you're happy to.
Yeah. Ping and Phase Forbidden Flame it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Keep the Antonius has shown up. You've got some relatively cheap spells to go with him anyway, so Forbidden Flame's fine. But yeah, there's still time. You're not in any crazy rush to get this Kazakus up there. Boom Boom Hall's just kind of touching cards, weighing options, trying to throw for.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's ever Flame Strike because at some point you need to
No, it's definitely not Flame Strike.
be able to wipe out a resurrected board. But yeah,
Exactly.
Volcanic Potion's an interesting option. It's a pretty bad card for the matchup, and it's cheap enough to go along with Antonius when it gets discounted, but then you're hurting him, which usually isn't so relevant, but...
Okay, so what is he worried about here, right? Because he obviously chose to keep the Forbidden Flame for the reason of saving it for like larger threats, right?
I think he
has
wants...
Polymorph, so really what this does is it protects them from the back-to-back, like...
Alexstrasza,
Alexstrasza, Archmage, Antonius, exactly.
I think that's exactly it. And wow, speaking of Archmage, the Burgly Bully, which wasn't shown off before, is here now, and man, it's
Yeah, I mean, again, he doesn't need to worry, right? Like, he can Cabal Courier Forbidden Flame, still.
Yeah,
I
just give them the 1 coin, it's fine.
Like, he's consistently hovering over that Kazakus, and I can't stress enough the importance of saving that for Brand Bronzebeard.
Scaring D lineman. Oh my god! I mean, he does have exactly 5 mana for the potion, but it's not a good spot to use a potion. Right away, at least. Like, the Burgly Bully is just awkward. He has 6 health, he doesn't get killed by the 5 direct. Water Elemental? Oh, no, never mind. Yeah,
Archmage Antonius.
Of course. I just looked past the Fearsome Doomguard so quickly to the immediate far left. Like, nope. We're not taking that guy. Could go off with Archmage here, but... And then that just kind of loads up your hand.
Yep, I don't mind this.
Yeah. In fact...
I would say just do it. Just get some more spells. Who cares?
Just Volcanic Potion.
Like, you're not expecting this Archmage Antonius to stick in this matchup. You're really not.
Definitely not. Oh, okay. We're just going for the 2 fireballs, saving Volcanic. I don't know. Another fireball could mean a lot. Eventually.
So Polymorph Ice Barrier Ping is going to be great. Next turn, he's going to have the Archmage Antonius Frostbolt Holy Smite, and if this Ash Drake comes down, then that's going to be an incredibly strong play.
Yeah, Boom Boom. Yeah, thanks to the Holy Smite, doesn't have to wait for Emperor at all. Antonius will just be fine, and he knows it'll be dead, but then they'll kind of have an equal number of fireballs at that point.
Yeah. So probably going to see something along the lines of Azure Drake Acolyte Ping.
Yeah, so Force of Will, with the fireballs in hand, the fatigue game just isn't there yet, but if it ever does get there, Force of Will is significantly by 4 cards right now.
Oh, daddy.
Wow.
I think you do it.
So Force Reno into Antonius. Force of Will has no ice block up. So by going with Alexstrasza into an Antonius turn, you're asking them to have both Ice Block and Antonius, basically. Or Reno.
I mean, to be
Reno
fair,
and
if you really want to, you can wait and Flame Strike. If you really want to, given that you still have the Frostbolt Holy Smite that kills it, that kills something that's 5 health or less at least.
yeah.
And I don't
It's just
particularly
not-
mind that.
In this matchup, like when it comes to Reno and Alexstrasza, there's a few different ways it can go. You can try and make them Reno prior to Alexstrasza and then Alex them, but that's really hard to do. It involves things like these fireballs. Like you'd have to chuck them at the face because you're just not going to get there quick enough otherwise.
What do you think about that Holy Smite going on the Acolyte of Pain instead of on the Azure Drake?
Yeah, Acolyte seemed pretty irrelevant. If Acolyte was pinged, I think Force of Will had 10 cards just now.
Yeah, not only that, but how often do we see Reno Mage Mirrors go down to fatigue? Right? Like, incredibly
I've
often.
seen it a lot.
Incredibly
maybe
often. So
maybe not a lot, but a good portion of them do.
I think this one is definitely headed that way. And
Well, Force of Will is basically insisting that it goes that way. He's cycling very aggressively and has started to throw fireballs at the face, so that's going to be the way this game is.
yeah, well, Force Will doesn't want to go to fatigue, right? Yeah, like absolutely. He's trying to end this one quickly. Boom Boom Hall.
Definitely
He knows
not.
he has the survivability. He knows he can go to fatigue if he wants to. And given that, I think you want him to ping that Acolyte of Pain every time.
Right. Yeah, the Acolyte just wasn't a big deal.
Like now you're looking at your path to victory here. Force of Will has 9 cards left in his deck. You have 14. This Alexstrasza need not be played against Force of Will at this point. You can use it to heal yourself when you need to before you even get to Reno, but you're gonna have a good amount of turns to draw Reno as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can fireball this 4/5. You don't feel bad about it. I
Okay.
really don't like Alexstrasza in here though, because you're not setting up lethal at all. Actually. I mean, you're setting up a 2-turn lethal, assuming that Ice Block and Reno Jackson aren't coming down. But with 8 cards left in this deck, I mean, what are the odds that he's not going to have Ice Block or Reno Jackson?
It was much different before. Maybe 4 or 5 turns sooner, the Alexstrasza, than this current one is. But the nice thing is that Force of Will didn't have the ideal response, which would have been Reno plus Polymorph.
I mean, I don't know. I think Boom Hall had a clear path to victory, playing to fatigue and saving the Alexstrasza for potential heal if need be, and potentially.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
A little bit.
Yeah, playing to fatigue. Because this is advantage right now.
Right, like he already used Frostbolt, right? So he doesn't have 15 damage as an accessible to a combo form. He can draw the Forgotten Torch at any time and hope it gets discounted, so he has an 18 damager. But if Force of Will is going to continue playing threats, the fireballs are going in that direction.
Yeah.
So the Alexstrasza to Force of Will space actually does not do. That really it's irrelevant, especially again when you consider the odds of Ice Block or Reno Jackson with only 8 cards left in Force of Will's deck.
Yeah, and Force of Will can improve the amount of cards left in the deck, but what's kind of interesting here is that this Manic Soulcaster just kind of got stranded in the hand just now. Reno was not returned to the deck, and Kazakus was not returned to the deck. There's no... So, the fatigue game is just completely lost now. It could have been salvaged there a little bit, but now it's just gone.
Job's done.
But with these 10 mana potions, Force of Will is basically just forcing the pressure with them.
Yeah, and now it makes this Flame Strike really awkward, right? Because like you really want to take care of this Brand Bronzebeard. You also really want to take care of this Kazakus before Manic Soulcaster comes down. But if you do that, and then Force of Will resurrects 3 minions, then what is your answer?
Well, yeah, Boom Boom has his own Kazakus potion, which transforms them into sheep.
That's true. That's
Which
true.
is better than Flame Strike.
So Flame Strike feels really good here then, in light of that. In
Feels
fact,
good.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't particularly mind Doomsayer coming down just to give you an extra turn to find better answers to things.
Yeah, Doomsayer's not bad. There's 2 10 mana potions you imagine the worst case scenario that one of them is going to resummon minions, and the negative portion to Doomsayer, which is them using Dirty Rat, is not really an issue. And also Boom Boom Hall's never resummoning minions. Doomsayer just, it's going to be a good tool going forward. Now Force of Will got 2 10-mana potions that deal 8 damage, so they're going to the Dome plan. But starts off with the Fireball instead. Because the Kazakus potions might do something. It's kind of unlikely, but like freezing minions, will that be relevant? Buffing your minions 6 health, will that be relevant? So Force of Will's in the mode of making Boom Boom Hall Reno before Straza.
Yes.
That's the plan. Actually, was using the Fireball earlier rather than later a problem? Because the
There's
ice
a
block
tremendous
popping
problem.
math is weird now.
It's a huge problem, right?
Because there's
we saw that.
8 damage potions that cost 10 mana.
I mean, it's sort of flew under the radar. We didn't really mention it would have happened, but he did choose to just toss a 7 damage fireball at Boom Boom Hall's face when he was at 20 plus health with 7 armor on top of it.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep, he's just gonna go for it now. The freezing minions has finally become somehow relevant. Not really, but enough.
So, man, so yeah, interesting scenario here.
Blizzard, maybe? Wow, poor Boom Boom Hall's just not very lucky at the moment. Reno is buried down, and he's going to need him pretty soon. Like, Force of Will's going to ask him to have it, and not mind if he does, but if he doesn't, then he's just dead.
Well,
If he can pop
Force
him
of
at the
Will-
right number.
Well, I'll tell you what Force of Will did. That was a. So okay, so whenever you're in a situation like this, right? Like if you're setting up lethal, you count multiple turns ahead.
Yep.
And say how exactly am I going to pop them at the health that I need to kill them? You see
Right.
the 8 damage.
You
Kazakus
can think of
potion-
pings that you
potion.
squeeze in too, randomly.
Right. So you think
That-
of those,
that
right?
varies
And you have
very
these 2 8 damage Kazakus potions. Now Boom Boom Hall's here at 8 health.
Yeah, because initially when the first fireball was thrown, I think Boom Boom was at I want to say it was 23 or maybe 24, including the pink. So started at 24, having 2 8 damage potions and fireball on hand. So if you ordered them differently without caring about the other effects of the potions, which let's be honest, they're not gonna go off really, or mean that much if they do.
So, man, here's the deal.
Wow,
If
that
Boom Boom
Soulcaster
Hall
pool was a
had
big deal.
If Boom Boom Hall had Reno, it was being played every single time. Every single time it was being played if he had Reno. So why would you Dirty Rat there? Like if the goal of Dirty Rat is to pull out Reno.
Yeah, it probably was going to be played because it's relevant enough. You're basically going to get popped.
Ooh, what a pickup!
Did get Manic Soulcaster though, which was good, but Boom Boom Hall doesn't need that to be better off in the fatigue game. He's already winning that by a lot. So Boom Boom Hall essentially just needs to draw Reno. Now he doesn't even have to play because Dirty Rat's out. He just needs to wait to get popped.
Yep.
Side effects? No.
Just play Mistress to make it more awkward, maybe.
I'm almost out of cards.
Ice Block's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant any longer.
So now the math is so awkward that Force of Will has it just has to ping a lot.
Job's done.
Like, ping a ton while being in fatigue. And Boom Boom Hall just doesn't care.
What do you think about that Doomsayer coming down? Well, I think it depends on what the last card in this deck is. Yeah, I think given that the last card is Mistress of Mixtures, I don't think it matters. If he had any burn at all all left in his deck, I'm not sure what he could have had. Then I don't think he
Oh.
played that fair.
The Doomsayer is actually kind of. It's funny that Mistress of Mixtures dying makes the Kazakus potion
Much better.
relevant
But I think he still saved it.
because of the. You don't play Mistress. At some point, it'll come in handy to help yourself out from all this fatigue damage taken. Okay, so Boom Boom goes with the Doomsayer.
So Forcible is probably going to think about just throwing this Kazakus potion and hoping that Reno's at the bottom of his deck. But thankfully, he decided against that.
Yeah. Oh wow, with the Roaring Torch now, Boom Boom Hall has real potential to abuse that fatigue at some point
Mm-hmm.
and throw those. But obviously, you try to do it the turn where you're actually killing them
Yes.
because it's just unnecessary to that point. Like you don't need to use your mana that bad.
Well, let's think. If he were to throw a fireball and ping here, that's 7. Forcible is going to take 2 damage there, so that's 9 damage. It puts him down to 16. And then if you were to Azure Drake fireball ping, then that would be 8 damage plus 3. That's 11. So
I think Boom Boom Hall made a similar calculation to what you just mentioned, and it was in addition he counted this Azure Drake as not mattering for the fatigue damage, and knowing that he had a natural fireball left in the deck, and that would make it count. So this Drake has to get
it doesn't matter. It's lethal. Next turn, no matter what.
Yeah. Which Force of Will might
Do what to do.
not realize. It's been a while since that other Antonice Fireball was generated, but it's just been hanging out.
Side effects? No.
Hands of cards.
Yeah, so this would be the time where the Mistress would be relevant. Yeah, but that's 3 damage getting taken next turn, right?
Yep.
Yep, 3 damage. If it was 2, it would have been fine too. Cool. Yeah, so Force of Will rushed for the fatigue,
Well played.
and wasn't able to pull off the plan really.
Job's done.
The Alexstrasza was in the hand the whole time because it just got too awkward. Okay. Yeah, so that's a win for Boom Boom Hall.
3-2.
So yeah, 3-2. That's NWA might have to get a little bit concerned depending on how some of those black teams mentioned before are doing.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that Boom Boom Hall's first win of the season?
The stream helper guide me. Boom Boom Hall, yes. Although it should be mentioned that
First 3 weeks he wasn't playing.
wasn't playing. He was a substitute player for Xanji. All right, so next up, we've got Bork from Harry Generals versus Drubik's Cube, Team Golden Wisp. And this series, wow, it has certainly been going. The Harry Generals have won 3 matches, 3-2, and it's 12-6.
So it's actually still possible for Team Golden Wisp to win then?
Yeah, they just basically have to go back and do the same.
Yeah.
More or less. They could give up a game.
Right.
In the process. Yeah, so let's see. I think the Generals are in good position for the playoffs, if memory serves me. But Golden Wisp has a lot of ground to make up. A double Shaman ban. Bork has Mage, Warlock, Warrior, and Drubik's Cube has Mage, Priest, and Warrior. So they differ on the Warlock and the Priest. That's kind of similar to a match before where the Warlock is happy to go up against the Priest, so you would tend to favor Bork
Yes.
if you had to choose. Is that there's the potential for that, and
In fact, going even further, if Bork is playing Freeze Mage, he can sweep the Priest.
ooh, that would be yeah. Wow, I wonder if there's consideration for that. Because Reno Mage, you have a mirror. You have a warrior to go up against in a bad matchup, so it's roughly 50-50, but you can get a huge edge by playing Freeze Mage if he's familiar with it. Before Ice Lance rotates out. Looks like they both had similar thoughts. They both queue up warrior to start. Should be pretty
Got a
interesting.
Dragon Warrior with Nether Spite Historian.
Oh dear.
So last
Wow.
week or
I've
2 weeks
seen
ago
this
was when I
online.
found out that Nether Spite Historian wasn't a priest class card.
Yeah, that was a eye-opening day.
Yeah.
That's weird because didn't we like? There's still pirates in here. This is clearly not a control.
Yeah, it's an
Dragon.
aggressive warrior deck that decided to play a cycle 2-drop.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this 1/3 is relevant. Whoa, okay. So we're just taking. There,
Scaled Nightmare, right?
yeah, like you could try to take Alexstrasza in hopes that it'll be relevant, but seems unlikely. Let's get the cheapest thing.
I mean, Scaled
Really
Nightmare
isn't
is
the best hand.
Scaled Nightmare is 12 damage over 2 turns, but it still comes rather late, but not as late as the other
Yeah.
two.
Rubik's Cube is ordered everything. Kind of funny. Coined out the Nether Spite Historian, which was fine, but then floats a mana with the small
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah,
Alexstrasza's
playing-
champion would have been great.
Yep.
And then you'd have War Axe small time as an option the next turn. And now mana's gonna get floated. This is
Mhm.
too. Which I think at the end of the day, if things were sequenced a little bit differently, I think that Rubik's Cube has a minion on board at this point.
Yeah.
That's what changes.
Yeah, so now this Twilight Guardian's going to be really good for him. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, might eat up Leroy.
Yeah, obviously we see the Fire War Axe and the Arcanite Reaper, but neither of those actually deal with the Twilight Guardian. The only card in Borg's hand that can kill it is a Leroy Jenkins, which still summons 2 1/1s for Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, I think he'd have to go for that too. It looks really bad with Rubik's Cube, considering that he has to tank this.
Yeah.
And opportunities to squeeze an armor up really don't happen too often.
But hey, you know what? If he really wanted to, I mean, he can armor up next turn. He'll have armor ups over future turns.
Yeah.
In fact, it looks like this Twilight Guardian's not being dealt with yet. It's going to just take 2 Fire War Axes over 2 turns.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 weapons in hand, I think this does make some sense.
And you know, the Alexstrasza's champion is going to be able to go into the South Sea Captain, so you're going to be able to protect quite a bit.
Yeah, I would think you do that.
I do think you armor up every turn at this point, though. So you can go Alexstrasza's champion, armor up, and N'Zoth's first mate.
Yeah, N'Zoth's first mate, just because you can, just because you get the 1/1, you get the weapon, which maybe you'll find room to upgrade at some point and try to push back, but at 26 health right now, that's probably the last thing on your mind. But protecting the taunt, yeah. Less damage taken to the face, the better. No pirate.
Yeah, so now these turns are looking really awkward for Borg. Now, that being said, he has a lot of damage coming, though, right?
Do you
so this
just
Arcanite
re-equip?
Reaper, I don't see a reason why not. I don't see a reason why not to Blood Cell Cultist either, though, right? Because you still don't have lethal next turn if you re-equip.
No, I was just thinking that I don't know how many pirates were left at top deck, but upgrading the Arcanite Reaper is really not necessary to win. If it gets 2 swings, even in the course of armor Oh
I think
wow.
at this stage, most of his top decks are just straight up damage, right? Like Mortal Strike, he could be running a Bash package, South Sea deckhands, Heroic Strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I never
Oh
see the
my
upgrade, and
God.
that's a tremendous pickup. Now the Twilight Guardian's really nice though.
Yeah, that was
Come
a
down.
huge discovery. We made fun of these Nether Spite historians. Second one.
I mean, I still make fun of him. That Nether Spite
No, no.
historian could have been a fierce monkey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Just
if he's able to armor up over 2 turns now, that puts him at 11, right? One Arcanite Reaper gets through, but then the Leroy Jenkins and Arcanite Reaper is 12 damage. So that's actually not quite enough for him to live. He still needs to do it, but then you question
Yeah.
whether or not he should be armoring up or playing Frothing Berserker.
19 health is definitely much closer, but these minions right now are just not pushing anywhere. Should that Rusty Hook have swung?
I don't
Is
see
he
why
setting
not.
up a more meaningful clock bite?
I still think you play Frothing Berserker. I mean, you might need to squeeze in that 1 damage, and let's see. If he were to top deck, say an Arcanite Reaper or even a
Oh yeah, it'd be huge.
a Fiery War Axe, being able to squeeze in that 1 damage might be all he needs, right? Because that 6 damage goes through. That puts Bork to 13.
Ooh, the Kor'kron, 1 mana off now.
So that Frothing Berserker goes to 3.
Yeah, I think you go with the Kor'kron.
Yeah, into the Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, you trade. Yeah.
All right.
Because it would have to be another Twilight Guardian at this point.
Yeah. All right. So that's gonna be it.
Yeah. Oh, poor Nether Spite. Oh, that's quite the little upgraded weapon there.
Yeah, but I do like that. I do like that he found that Frothing Berserker line. I think that was way better for him than armoring up.
Right.
Well played.
Yep, that's gonna do it, Leroy.
Like he made the smart read, right? Because you think about what that card that's been sitting in his hand for this long had to have been.
Uh-huh.
And I think that given the sequencing of plays from Bork, it was highly unlikely that it was either Heroic Strike or Immortal Strike, especially when you consider that armor ups were happening.
Yeah.
So the only logical conclusion at that point is Leroy Jenkins, and you don't play around that by armoring up, so you might as well try to find a line to kill him with Frothing Berserker.
Right. Which would have taken a few turns, but you knew that Frothing was gonna get powered up to 3 at least by
Yeah.
the weapon going into your Twilight Guardian.
Yeah, we don't know what else he has in this deck. If you were to have something like a Ravaging Ghoul, then
Oh,
everything
Ravaging
changes.
Ghoul, yeah. Definitely. Okay. So Drupix Cube's Warrior's gone, has Priest, Mage left to play. Mage seems pretty good overall. You can queue into Warlock, there's the Mirror, and then there's... Actually, with Nether Spite Historian, that gets turned on its head.
So Drupix Cube found himself. So I'm not exactly sure now
Wait.
with this matchup.
Oh, I wrote this down.
Yeah, you did.
Dumb.
Yep, Bork won with the Warrior. So yeah, so I'm not entirely. We know that Pirate Warrior in general is heavily favored against Reno Warlock, right? It's a bit too fast.
Yeah.
Dragon Warrior is not as strong, but still has what I would consider a good matchup against Reno Warlock. But then when you consider that you're running things like Nether Spite Historians, does even the existence of those 2 drops, given how slow they are, does that shift this to an even and possibly favored matchup for the Reno Warlock?
Well, here's the thing, is that Drupix Cube not only has the Nether Spite Historians, but there's also this Bloodsail Cultist, which correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that every Dragon Pirate hybrid runs this.
Oh, they're not, because they're inconsistent as all hell in Dragon Warrior.
Right.
I mean,
Some run one. Yeah, but the thing about the Nether Spite is, so Dragon Warriors, they can be a little more aggressive, they can be a little slower. But I think when you go to try to make them a little bit slower, with just like the Curator as a standalone, does incredible work. And then
Alright.
just like 8 drops basically. So coined out the Kazakus for the 1 mana potion.
If you're gonna coin out Kazakis, at least he did it for the 1 mana potion. That is reasonable after you've already chosen to coin Kazakis. The question is, should you have coined Kazakis in the first place?
Probably should have coined Twilight Drake.
I would say so.
Yeah. One thing's for sure though, it's not looking being at half your health. I mean, Rubik's Cube can start to think maybe, you know, they used their coin very early. I think if they had Reno, they would have kept it.
Oof.
To try and coin it out, basically. Like, what hope is there at this point? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the Kazakus potion is actually doing, like, it'll clear the board.
Yeah, but now oh man, that coin.
Just all you're doing. Like, the usage of the coin got the job done, but
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have Reno in his hand yet. If he had Reno in his hand at all, I don't think that coin comes down.
definitely not.
Oh.
Oh, never mind.
Got him.
There goes that one. So the Warriors get their wins quick. Wow. Interactive. Alright, well, Bork was happy enough to queue the Warlock there, and it's even better now that there's Priest. I think Reno Mages are favored against Reno Lock, but it's... depending on how the Reno Lock's built, I think it can improve a lot. Like, combo's not very important against Reno Mage. If you're not running combo, you've got a better chance of having fewer dead turns.
The light shall bring victory.
Ooh. Whoa, Mana Worm. Oh, okay, so this is Tempo
Seems like it.
with Acolyte too.
Yeah, I mean that was happening right back when Temple Mage was popular. People were putting Acolytes of Pain in there towards the end there.
Yeah, it was actually those ones always had pre-nerf Yogg. I
Yeah.
don't know how good Acolyte is without something huge like that to draw towards, but I guess there's Antonize too. But yeah, let's see how Tempo Mage does against Dragon Priest. Dragon Priest has come a really long way with the last expansion, and Tempo Mage is kind of the same.
Yeah, well, you know what? Dragon Priests nowadays aren't running Excavated Evil.
Right.
And that was a pretty important card against Temple Mages a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, they are running Double Holy Nova a lot of the time, but yeah, you're not seeing Dragonfire Potion in them either. And that was also relatively important in the matchup at some stage where you have the Flame Waker that you weren't able to respond to because you never draw your Shadow Word Pain when you need it, and then the Azure Drake comes down shortly thereafter, and you have the mirror images, and then at that stage, that's when your Excavated Evil or your Dragonfire potions are really important. But these priest decks aren't running that anymore, so.
Yeah, and a lot of these Dragon Priests, they're trimming down on things like Bookworms. Most run 1, a lot run none at all. Just to squeeze in things like Double Holy Nova is the choice, or sometimes you do 1 Nova, 1 Dragonfire. It all depends.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, if you're playing Dragon Priest, you can try to make your matchup against Reno Lock better, but it's kind of not the way to go. Like, Dragon Priest is just always going to be good against Reno Mage if it's Reno Mage, and if you build it to be better against aggro, then you can beat Warrior better too. So who knows what kind of AoE options have been chosen, but...
So here at Bork with a good read, right? Because you know that Dragon Priests don't have any convenient ways at all to deal with this 4-1 at all.
Right, it's gonna have to be a trade, and doesn't sweat it using the arcane missiles. I think ultimately that's something you save for Flame Waker.
Yeah,
You think-
even. Mhm.
Was there ever a world where you hang on to that whelp to help your Draconoid operative?
Yes. Yeah, I think there's definitely that world. Now he's really hoping that.
Top
I mean,
decks one at
he-
any point.
that he top decks for Dragon. But at this point, you know, he's gotten a really good draw there with the Blackwing Technician as well. So he still has has a play for these next 2 turns, and likelihood is that he'll draw a Dragon by then.
Yeah, dragons are coming in at any point. If Netherspite Historian shows up, then that's just like your dragon fuel. So there's dragons to be drawn, and there's Netherspite Historian, which can find one in a weird circle of life sort of way. So is this Flamewake?
I don't think so. I actually really like Azure Drake coming down again.
Oh yeah, Azure Drake. All the worst that could happen is that they'd have like a Power Word Shield on the Corruptor to trade.
Yeah.
Nothing else really gets there. This... How often does this really do something? I think the odds of killing the Blackwing tech might be okay, but... Yeah.
I think even if you're doing that, I think you save the 2 mana for the ping instead of the Blood Mage Thanos. Because you can direct that. You choose where that 1 damage goes.
Does get the cycle right away, but there's lots of cycle in hand. You're not in a huge hurry against Dragon Priest either. It depends on the deck though. Acolyte is something different. So you definitely want to kill the Flamewaker.
Yeah. I think you could do that. I think you can go Blackwing Technician, Cabal Talon Priest on the 5/2 and kill the Flamewaker.
Yeah.
You're not worried about Flame Strike anymore, I don't think. I mean, the Tempo Mage decks can be running Flame Strike, but if they do, it's a 1-of.
Yeah, and in that case, you would just play the Talon Priest probably, and also healing the Corruptor to play around that. Okay, chooses to go without Talon Priest then, which... Yeah. So gave it 2 health for the hero power. Just try to squeeze something out of that hero power, basically.
I mean, so here's the thing. If you're worried about Flame Strike, then why would you continue to like do a play that plays into it? Because like Cabal Talon Priest isn't doing anything anymore.
No.
Right, but if you play the Cabal Talon Priest there, trade heal, then now you actually have a board that's more resilient to Flame Strike.
Right, yeah. If the hero power was gonna get used, I think Talon Priest plus healing would have been good. The Corruptor would have been pretty big at that point. Probably demanded a fireball. This is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a...
You got a bunch of cards that your deck wasn't built for, but Emperor is probably going to be useful.
Yeah, I guess it's Emperor. Well, I don't know why this Emperor is in the Tempo Mage deck.
Antonidas. Really good Antonidas insurance.
I guess, yeah. I mean, thinking about it now, I think Emperor was in a lot of Tempo Mage decks before.
Yeah. I think
Barnes is an interesting one. I wonder what. I mean, yeah. I guess Barnes hits a fair number of minions in your deck. Mana Worm's not the worst thing in the world, though. It's still pretty bad. But besides that,
anything with spell damage, Acolyte, Sorcerers, Antonidas would be wacky.
Right. Then there's obviously the Antonidas and the Emperor that it could hit. So here you can go double Fireball, but do you even feel good about that? I don't think so.
Are we squeezing in Intellect, or are we pinging the...
Nah, we're just going to draw last, because, you know.
Okay, yeah. Mirror Image 2. Yeah, just to protect the Mana Worm and Sorcerer's Apprentice. You can only protect so much against Holy Nova, but... yeah, because the Mirror Image was... the one way for Flamewaker.
Yeah.
To really do something, assuming that some of this got cleared.
So seeing as Jubix Cube hovered over it, doing that Cabal Talon Priest play, you know he thought that Twilight Guardian was about to be a 3/6.
Yeah.
Then he changed his mind and went for that taunt, so we got some more people with a case of the Delta 4 ones.
They make the things glow.
Yep.
Wow, that's a big Mana Worm. Not even Dragonfire Potion would really... Oh, double Argus. Okay, so...
Man, Shadow Word Death. On that 6/3.
Yeah, but then the problem is... You need to protect against the rest of it, which means you need to Argus something that's effectively not
Yeah.
going to do anything.
So let's see here. You Cabal, Talon, Priest, or Defender of Argus, right? That gives you a
Right.
3/7 and a 4/5. If you Shadow Word Death and then do a Defender of Argus on that 2/3, you have a 3/4 Taunted. Which
I think they were about equivalent, but leaving the mana worm up would be slightly worse because you like if
Yeah.
the mana worm was left up, then one of those big taunts you got to make would either be dead to it or
yeah, it gets bigger, and you are no longer able to. Oh no, you can still squeeze it in the heal though. So
yeah. Okay, Tempo Mage was able to prove itself there against Dragon Priest, and the Dragon Priest actually drew. Both of them drew pretty well too, so I don't know, maybe there's something to Tempo Mage.
all right, so where are we at in this series?
Spice things up. Bork's up 2-1. Just has Warlock left. Which you gotta be sweating a little bit if you're Drubik's Cube, because you know you have Priest, so you'll queue up your Mage.
Yep, you could mage right now, try to get 2 wins out of it, and hope for the best on your Priest.
Yeah, and Priest can definitely do it against Warlock. If you just get the right assortment of dragons in a row, the bodies are so huge, especially Operative. Operative can steal
Yeah.
amazing things from Reno Lock that, like the range of things that are in Reno Lock decks, they just can't play around them. Okay, cues up the Priest just
I
wants
just don't
to-
even know what to think anymore.
Yeah, this is I mean, in other conquest formats, people don't think too hard about this one, but in THL, getting the extra points is pretty good. If you can, increase your chances to do it.
Especially when you're still chasing for playoffs.
Yeah,
Like every single point matters in that scenario.
yeah. Especially making these decisions over the course of a season too. Like if you do this in half your matches.
Yep. If you do this in half your matches,
like 4
that's a 4 or a 5 point difference at the end of the season.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
those are big.
And if your entire team does that in half of their matches, multiply that by 5, and you're in the playoffs.
Whew. Math.
Yep.
So Chromagus is kind of cool that it synergizes with Power Word Shield, but I don't know how.
I really, really like Deathwing.
Yeah, I
That's a
would
big
also
deal.
lean toward Deathwing. Because at some point, you'll play fairly reasonable threats. Like even Operative is worthy of Siphon Soul.
Yeah.
Certain
Also, like, what
points.
is the? Yeah. So there's that, right? Like the hard removal is very largely going to be used before you get to Deathwing, right? Between Blast, Crucible, Siphon Soul. Twisty Nether is obviously a thing, but you try to hope to bait that as well. But the fact of the matter still stands that with Reno Lock, the biggest reason why Reno Lock is favored against Priest, besides the fact that Reno Lock's Reno Lock has Shadow Flame in the deck, which is really what the big linchpin is. But besides that is Lord Jaraxxus. And what better defense against Lord Jaraxxus late game than playing Deathwing and telling Jaraxxus to try to deal with it with his 6/6s.
Right. Yeah, and Jaraxxus is in hand, and that's a pretty big deal usually against priests because they have no reach outside of their board. So Azure Drake over Operative, I guess maybe top decking the Bran affected that. He wants to Bran Operative.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Now, I think Bork's got a decent enough board himself to not rush Sylvanas out to try and make things awkward. Huh? You can do it though. It just kind of diminishes her effectiveness. But it also slows down Drubik's Cube because now he's got to kind of dance around.
What is the best way to go about doing this?
It's interesting because you can double trade off into the minion Sylvanas, but then the Azure Drake alone isn't going to be able to help. So then you could play the Blackwing Technician too.
What if you just went double trade Draconid or double trade Azure Drake again? It doesn't really.
Oh yeah, you could double trade into the Sylvanas and just
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if your plan is to save Draconid Operative for Brand, I think you can still do that. You can
Yeah.
do something like double trade Astric again, it's fine.
Yeah, so just simply kill the Sylvanas, and yeah, you could play Drake. Drake, Operative. Blackwing Technician. The difference between 5 and 4 health is pretty insignificant here.
Yeah, it's
'Cause the-
insignificant, and you draw a
the
card
coil
for that.
values- Yeah, and you like dragons are no concern. You got Chromagus hanging out. Yeah, I'm not sure what. The 5 health just doesn't seem important.
I think the big thing here as well, as soon as you
Ah,
choose this play,
We tap Mountain Giant all the time.
no, not if you don't PO.
Okay, that seems like the usage of PO to protect a 3/1.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I'm like, you're not gonna win this with combo. You're winning this with Draxus every time.
I guess, but PO means a lot with like Shadow,
With Shadow
Flame.
Flame, yes, it does. To go further though, on the decision to Blackwing Technician over Azure Drake is that, I mean, he top decked a Blackwing Technician there, which was really nice for him. But if you're going to turn 6, you're expecting an Emperor to come down. If you win Azure Drake, it allows you to go Shadow or Death Blackwing Technician. But he didn't have that option available to many more. If there was, say, like a double trade and Emperor Thaurissan, then you're looking at a Shadow Word Death here, Pure Power Pass if you don't pick up that Blackwing Technician off the top.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
But here you were playing for Brand Draconet Operative, so let's do it, Daddy.
I think so. Bork went for the. Did Bork tap into the Twilight Drake? No, it was the Twilight Drake. I was wondering last turn about trading and playing the Abyssal Enforcer with the Shadow Word Death having just been used. It would have been punished, but Operative, yeah. Alright, let's see what's in there. I think you already play 2 Arguses in your deck, and that's gonna be enough.
Yeah. I like a Ball Courier or Soulfire. Either one is fine.
Yeah. Soulfire could be a huge surprise, but you might not get close enough for that to really be a thing. Yeah. These operatives, they eat up Blast Crystal potions. That's that. Ragnaros, yeah, I mean the one shot where Death got used, there would have been enough board to probably kill it through other means. So seems like a good time. I mean, Blackwing Corruptor Argus?
Blackwing Corruptor Argus is
Kind of.
nifty. It protects you against Mortal Coil.
No, but yeah, there's just Emperor and
Good
Cabal Barrier,
cross.
which you would want to do first.
Sick
In case
order.
you got something really good, like Silence.
I think that this like Discover Last and Draw Last thing has happened in every single match this Salty Saturday.
You got a good card. So it was rewarded. Okay, now it's Abyssal Enforcer time. Yeah, hanging on to that really paid off. So let's see, Twilight Drake's now down to 3 health, so Corruptor and Shadow Word Death get the... Oh my god, and there's
now
Powerful Shield for the discounted Chromagus at some point.
Oh man.
The dream.
Yeah, so Blackwing Corruptor, Shadow Word Death for sure. That's a no-brainer. But if you're doing that, you have 4 mana left over. You can Azure Drake. That's pretty nifty. But you could say that for Chromagus, if you really want to, you can do something like Worm Rest Agent, Defender of Argus as well.
Yeah, the Chromagus just straight up seems great with the Blast Crystal Potion having been used. Wow, this is the dream. What?
Well, don't get greedy. Shadow Word Death.
No, do not get greedy. Wow.
So he's gonna have to. He's
gotta
gonna
corrupt
have to
that
twist
boy.
together.
You gotta. Okay, he's gonna corrupt it because the Twisting Nether seems to be too valuable. But oh my god, the
Oh,
double
get in
power
there,
shield.
Rubik's Cube. Get in there.
He's gonna. You could just Power Word Shield random dudes too, and just let Chromagus get that trade.
Is Salty Saturday a PG stream? I'm working really hard at censoring myself, and it's
I
like
think-
mentally taxing.
I think Jedi may or may not watch with his children at points, but they're probably in bed by now. Oh, nothing got played. Oh yeah, because we're saving Brand Kazakus. Wow. So how can I hold all these cards?
How can I not power word shield? Oh, okay, he's going on a 3/6. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
'cause-
maybe one for the 3/6, one for the Corruptor. Play the 4-mana.
Yeah, I like one on the corruptor as well.
Yeah. Okay, so Chromagus
He could
is
also
going to trade.
he could also Astro Drake if he really wanted to.
Pushing Face would be cool.
If he Astro Drakes, it puts him at 10 cards. But
Oh, okay, so Wormrest Agent, Cabal. The funny thing about Chromagus is that you play the cards that you draw and your opponent instantly gets to figure out what you actually still have.
man, I think you just play Twilight Guardian and call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like the way the buffs got diversified here.
So unfortunately, he didn't pick up something like a Netherspite Historian or a Draconid Operative off of those Chromagus draws,
No,
because that would have
but
that would have been
the
pretty.
double
insane.
Blackwing Corruptors are pretty sweet. At some point, you try to burst them down.
So now Borg's gonna be looking for some sheep.
Yeah, 1/5. 4 to all seems good. At least, like the one right here is probably too beefy. It needs to get turned into sheep or be
He
twisting
chose deal
nether.
5 damage, gain 7 armor.
So 7 armor was the first option, right?
And then deal 4 to all was an option the second time.
Yeah, which would
He
be the
chose
one
deal
to
5
pick.
damage instead.
Hmm.
But he did get the sheep and gain 10 armor. But I don't know about choosing deal 5 instead of deal 4 to all,
Right.
because he hasn't used a Shadow Flame yet, right? Has he used a Hellfire?
No.
Because you can combo the Kazakus potion with Hellfire or Shadow Flame to finish clearing a board that way. But dealing 5 damage to a single minion to gain 7
Oh
armor.
my god, this
really-
Nova.
Oh. Yeah, it doesn't seem all that impactful. I mean, here,
You gotta make
Especially-
these into sheep or nether.
yeah.
I think sheep. Yeah, sheep gets rid of like really dirty stuff off of nether spites, but the one got played. I wonder if it was better to do the sheep, but I don't know. They're about. The difference with nether is that you can squeeze in taps, which he chose not to. Yeah, it's getting rough though, because the main thing Reno Lock does is, like, you need to find a window to play Jiraxxus at some point. Like, Drubik's Cube is never going to run out of minions at this rate.
Yes.
Never.
And now,
He
what are we
using those
looking at?
Cabal Couriers, just discovering things that discover things. They never run out.
But egg on my face, now this Kazakus potion looks a lot better. Siphon Soulfire
yeah,
looks pretty good as well.
Because the 4-mana AoE wouldn't have.
Yeah. You can go like Siphon Soulfire, Imp Gang Boss. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah.
But at that rate, your odds of discarding Ragnaros or Lord Jiraxxus are very high, and you don't want to do that. You have a lot of quality stuff in your hand.
Mm-hmm. So Cabal Courier. Wow.
I think Cabal
Cabal
Chemist
Chemist?
is good.
Yeah, why not? And then, yeah, and then I'm just wondering what else get played. Probably Twilight Guardian. Argus on these sheep is, the extra damage doesn't seem that relevant, and they're not getting health that really protects them
at
from
this rate, how
Hellfire or
irrelevant
Demon Red.
is it? I mean, at this rate, like I think you're at a point where you really do want to start squeezing in this damage.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think Drubik's Cube really has to be worried too much about healing. I mean, you just want to have as much board as possible because your Shadow Deaths are gone. Like you need the board not only to push damage, but also to respond to things.
So freezing potion.
Decides to hold off though.
Freezing potion is not exactly the kind of potion he was looking for,
No.
but it's still serviceable, right? In case you want to set up lethal and not respond to a threat that was played, you can just simply freeze the threat and set it up.
Not tapping.
Yeah, I'm not sure why not to tap.
Gotta find Reno. Gotta find Shadow Flame. Maybe.
Yeah. So Shadow Word Pain here is a no-brainer for sure, and then also Blackwing Technician is just too convenient not to drop here. The question is what else, and I'm looking at that Argus again.
Yeah, Argus, because these Corruptors are potentially burst directly to the face. You also get the five attack body though immediately.
My shield for Argus.
So there's some positives to that too. There's a lot of other minions that could have been played though that didn't represent burst. So now this is just
Yeah, so now here we are again. This Kazakus potion is going to have him gain 7 armor and get rid of this Blackwing Corruptor. So he's going to have 9 damage on board, looking at 18 health.
Right.
So I don't think he's worried about taking 9 damage this turn. I don't think he's worried about taking 7 damage from hand. I think the tap is incredibly relevant.
Once upon a time.
well, we had this decision before.
Yep, and I
Man,
think that
get that-
now, given the second opportunity, and the Chromagus worked out well for you, but I think it's definitely time again.
Just get that Dragonkin Sorcerer and pop a freezing potion at him. It'll be good. You could just play the Naked Chromagus.
That's true. The Chromagus does come down this turn, and that's something I didn't actually consider. You don't really need to react any longer to big threats from Bork, because at this rate, how does he deal a big board? How does he generate a large board? He already played.
Everything's run out. The big Kazakus potion that did sheep was done.
Exactly.
Second Kazakus potion got played, so you know there's no more left.
Yeah.
And Nether got played. And now
Lethal?
Siphon. That's the last straw right there. Is Siphon Soul.
5/9. That's lethal. Got him.
Yep. All right, cool. Dragon Priest wins the what's supposed to be the unfavored matchup, but it worked out pretty well. That Jaraxxus and Ragnaros could just never, like, the pressure was too great. They couldn't come down. I think there was one turn, like probably right on turn 8, that the Ragnaros could have come down. But if it had the 1 and 3 to hit the face, I think you were always dead. And even if you hit a minion,
I got a
still
question
succeeded.
for you. Did we see a Blast Crystal potion come out of that Warlock deck in the games that were played with it?
Yeah, that one.
What was it played on? Do you remember? Because I remember seeing Corruption, and it was really making me question, because how did this game got lost because Chromagus stuck for a turn. Chromagus stuck for a turn and was able to generate 3 cards.
Yeah, Chromagus did work. There was a Blast Crystal potion though. Corruption's becoming more and more standard in these Renalock lists.
I can get with it.
Yeah, it's okay. Gets the job done. It's kind of awkward sometimes, but what are you gonna do? So Renalock versus Reno Mage. Bork's got Rag and Jaraxxus, so we saw the PO, but that's kind of in most builds just to go alongside Shadow Flame and stuff like that, so no combo. I think that's a benefit. Malchezaar's Imp just as a dude.
We're in a position here where Jubrix Cube has to feel really good about his chances to take down this series.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we're talking about it in this scenario now, because just 15 minutes ago we were talking about how the Harry Generals were likely to come out of this one with a 3-1 win out of Bork.
Yeah, just get the ice block up while you can.
Yeah, the ice block here is fine. It leads right into refreshment vendor on the following turn. Borg's not going to really be able to generate anything except for playing this Void Walker. There's no real tool drop that he'll get off the tap here. And refreshment vendor is going to be perfectly fine to reset this and contest with the entire board.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and now with the combination of Ice Block and Reno, a whole new world of playing the game opens up.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
just
this is going
constantly
to
get
be
to manipulate this.
it's going to be tremendously difficult now for Borg to find a way through this as long as Jibux Cube plays this correctly. If Archmage Antonidas gets picked up at any point from this point forward, you know that Borg's going to be right on his heels.
Was a mistake.
Yeah. And the thing about earlier with the Reno Mage mirror is that the Alex Straza for Reno Mage and the ability to pressure a Reno lock to Reno prior to that Alex Straza is so much greater because they're tapping usually three to four times leading up to like where Alex Straza would be played on curve. That's just an estimate. I don't actually know. It all depends. Huh? Volcanic Potion's not getting much better, I guess.
I suppose. Yeah, there's really nothing much that's there for you to do here. Yeah, so Jibux Cube has exactly what he needs to win. He just needs to draw any threats ever.
I don't know about throwing Thalnos into the potion. It seems you don't need to cycle that badly. You've got answers to big things that might happen this turn.
Yeah, you're fine for the next 2 turns, really. Let's see, because like right now, Bork's really tempted to play like this naked Sylvanas here.
Wow.
He likes not to, so yeah, so you got an extra turn out of this, which is pretty nice.
Got him.
So
Yeah,
you
so
can't just
Sylvanas. I guess it's the combination of Sylvanas and Shadow Flames valuable, and also
He just wants to play Sylvanas on a board where Sylvanas can actually take
it's actually
something.
doing something. Yeah, because it means so much more in these slower matchups.
Here, Doomsayer ping is actually incredibly strong.
I've been getting pretty wary about the nature of Doomsayer and Dirty Rat. Because you play the Doomsayer, you invite them to Dirty Rat if they have it, and then you might lose Alex. Or
That's true, and you also just saw last turn Borg pass with 9 cards in his hand, so you wouldn't be surprised if he has, those sort of reactionary cards like Dirty Rat.
The end is coming.
Yeah, well, wants to try the setup. I don't know if the plan is to try and set up for Coin Alex. That would be really, really aggressive. But it would be interesting because your opponent wouldn't be able to both Reno and Blast Crystal Potion at the same time. So maybe that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there's not much burn.
Ooh, doesn't give a fuck.
What?
Sorry, Jedi's kids. Woo!
What? Don't. This gets polymorphed, right? And you can Arcane Blast the 4. What was that? What? Oh my god, that ref.
I need to get polymorphed. You can, if you wanted to, you can go Blood Mage Thalnos Fireball.
I can't believe that.
You can go Blood Mage Thalnos Fireball, ping on the Ragnaros, and then coin Arcane Blast the 4/4.
Yeah, I guess the question is just like you
what
do
are the
like
value
to
of
keep
these
the fireball
cards?
at some point to eventually go face what's most important for a polymorph to take care of?
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas. But that would assume that you had a board that was worth defending, which
Yeah, which is unlikely in this matchup. Also, I really like keeping the coin, at least for Archmage Antonidas.
ooh, don't touch that.
Oh,
Not worth.
not worth.
But man, Thanos is gonna get in there for one next turn.
Damn right.
Okay, there's the Blast Crystal Potion, so The Alexstrasza, if it happens, will get dealt with, but it's unclear whether Drubik's Cube even wants to do it like that. Oh,
Oh, well.
so when it comes to playing Jiraxis,
You don't.
usually I think you're better off doing it if you've seen
Yes.
a Fireball be played.
Yes.
If you've seen something get played, then it's safe, and if you have a good hand to support Jiraxis, which Bork does, Bork has Reno, Bork has Siphon Soul. So if he does get beat up, he can heal back up at whatever's appropriate. I think at some point you do like to try and play Jiraxis. It's just a real question. Well, now Bork's always going to be at 15 max, so
Here's a thought for you. How do you feel about Acolyte of Pain, Ping, or Acolyte of Pain Forgotten Torch, Ping on the Acolyte?
Forgotten Torch, ping on the Acolyte.
Right,
So
but
then-
Forgotten Torch Jiraxis, obviously, but Ping on the Acolyte.
yeah,
you
and
can
then at
focus
that
it-
point, it's kind of sneaky in that if the Acolyte ever connects for 1 damage, it's lethal the next turn, right?
Yeah.
Also, if this was going to happen while Forgotten Torching the... Oh! Okay. So actually, Drubik's Cube, I think that the Forgotten Torch was going to get played, which in which case you would have rather done it first, cycling with the Acolyte, but Manny got rewarded for actually drawing first.
All right, so that's lethal. 6, 9.
Yeah,
Got him.
because of the Abyssal Enforcer.
Yep.
Wow, that Jiraxis was bold.
That was wild.
You know
That
what was more
was-
bold than the Jiraxis was that Ragnaros.
Oh my god.
Just the 50-50.
That was that. Okay. I mean, the Rag 50/50 was crazy. The Jiraxis, what the fuck? Oh, good lordy, lordy lord.
It was interesting. Yeah,
Well,
we had a bunch of 5-game series tonight. That was insane.
That was a series. Drubik's Cube got it.
Oh, well, the Generals do win because Bork got his 2-game wins.
Yes.
Well, no, it could be a tie. Could be a tie if the last match is a sweep for gold. Be 14-14
No. Wait.
because
Yeah,
it's
'cause
it's
it's
14
14-10
to
right
10.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, wow, that was we had all 5-game series. It's very late, so I just want to thank D Lyman for joining. I know probably more than just about anyone, people in THL really enjoy hearing D Lyman.
Oh, I don't know
Expected.
why. I don't even know half the cards that get played.
You learned pretty quick.
I learned 2 cards this Salty Saturday.
What'd you learn?
I forget what they were called. Wait, the Grookfu Master,
Oh yeah, Group Mass.
and there was another card that came up that was in someone's hand, and I had to hover over it and read it.
All right, maybe we'll review the VOD. All right. Anyway, that's gonna be that. So we got 2 weeks of THL left, and yeah, I don't know. Look out for Tavern Talk and all the shows because playoff picture is rapidly forming, and it's going to become very clear who doesn't have a chance and who has a chance, and what they have to do and what their schedules are like.
Mm-hmm. And
Oh, yeah, I
next
get to
week,
play D Lyman next week.
we're playing at 3 a.m.
Cool.
Monday morning / Sunday night, 3 a.m. It's Eastern. It's gonna be fantastic.
I have President's Day off, so it's fine.
Damn right.
Anyway, have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.